Yeah! Kick in the door. What? Kick in the door. Shots for everyone. Everyone goes, yay!
Yeah, Warm, open the door right now.
I love your shining door.
No. We're the only tavern with electrical lighting.
Stay away from the light,
Caroline. Oh, we're back for another Tavern Talk. I'm excited. You look excited, but your face kind of always looks excited. I can't tell. We're designed to always look excited.
What do you mean? I'm pretty bored right now.
Oh, that's million that you're experiencing ennui.
Ennui. Yeah, see, oui. Hi, Ryan.
Oh,
Ryan.
hello, my friend. Hello. I can't wait. We have an exciting tavern talk for you. We have
guests.
Oh Ilyana, she'll talk your ear off.
Oh man. Bring some sandwiches and that cute little cheese thing you always do. I love it. She makes this cheese thing. I don't really love it, but I say
What happens to Ilyana if she leaves the crust on? I think Ilyana had a rough life. Well, hey, let's get into that with our guests. Right. So Dan, you want to introduce our guests?
Yes, I would love to. Because we are stoked. We have 2 first-time guests to our tavern. And in fact, I see them right over there. So I'm going to just tell you about them. First, and they're sitting with Rob from Malkier Talks. Rob, our brother from another. He's always with us, even when he's not with us. It's kind of cool. He's like Clarence, that angel in It's a Wonderful Life. He's like, anyways, that's our Clarence. But we also have 2 guests. One is you know them both. One is with us all the time. Every time we have a show, you will see him in the chat. And the other one has been in our chat, but is not as frequent a guest. And so we're even more thrilled to have her. Please welcome everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Headski and Morgan from Podcast of a Dragon.
And whoa, what?
Hi guys.
Are we having a face-off?
Hi guys. We're hoping Headski's been having a little issues. We're hoping that he's going to join us as soon as he can.
Wait, brother Dad, please be specified. He's having technical issues, not just general issues.
He has issues. No,
that leaves too much to the imagination.
He's in the Australian outback. It might be dingoes are chewing on his internet connection. Who the heck knows? He might be wrestling a snake or a spider the size of my head.
He's like, I'm late for the stream. I had to kill me a badger.
Had to go wrestle a kangaroo.
Shit, are there badgers in Australia? No.
Probably.
God. No.
Oh,
we've already gotten our first question from chat. It's very pertinent. Is Morgan wearing pants?
No.
Love it.
Yeah.
Why do you think I kept turning my camera off as I got up to adjust the lighting?
Yes.
And Village Mattress knows why Headski's not here because a dingo took his baby.
A dingo. He's like, God, bloody dingo, not again.
Wait. If you're not wearing pants, then every time you stood up, Morgan, there was like a light that emanated from So are you? I'm wondering.
Choir.
Yeah. Choir. Why are we here?
We're here for some tavern talk. We're doing a reread show with a first-time reader, and we just finished The Great Hunt, chapters 4 and 5. This is when Moiraine and Suian first kind of meet up together, and there's all kinds of juicy tidbits that we wanted to get into. And so we figured you guys are the perfect people to talk to about this on a deeper level. But before we get into that, and hopefully when Headski comes, I'll do his. But Morgan, as is tradition, I wrote you a little song to welcome you to the show.
Yep.
And so I have to lay down to play guitar.
Yeah, because we're
that's the only way to play guitar is to lay down, obviously.
As our first time reader has dubbed us, we're a bunch of tinks, and tinks like to play songs. That's what we do.
That's what we do. All right, so you can hear me all right?
Yep.
All right. All right, so this is actually an ode to 2021 and AKA Morgan song. Okay. right. I'm just all right. All right. That's what I want. All right. More laugh, more learn, more take your turn. More joy, more hope, more medical dope, more share, more fair, less fear and hate.
Yeah.
More feeling good, yeah. Go ahead and masturbate right now. Oh, wait.
How long?
I'll give you to the count of 6, 7, 8. More tobacco for your pipe.
Yes.
More wine in your flagon.
Oh no.
More listening to the great podcast of the dragon. And more of our new best friend, yeah, yeah. Give me more Morgan.
Woo!
Oh, shut
So-
up. Lightheaded.
I want to know the level of internet stalking that Dan engaged in to know to write a song about weed and masturbation for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can now trace it back to his job in the NSA in real life. RIL. IRL.
I got a
Okay.
Google hat.
And without further ado, we will not play the musical bumper. Let's bring in our guest, Headski.
Oh, shit. Headski.
And he is drinking to the Headski, I see.
There you go. Hey, Headski. Everyone, please, ladies and gentlemen at home, welcome our other new best friend, Headski. How are you, lad?
How are you?
Oh, I'm good to see you.
We're doing great. If there's any way you could change that background from being super bright to
I'm going
being
well, thank you.
dark,
Guys, yourself?
we're having a great time. Just starting the show off.
Well, shit, I wrote Headski a song. You want to hear it?
Ooh, yeah, I might have to jump inside.
Oh,
There we go. Yep.
That looks great. All right, I'm going to sing your song now, goddammit, Headski. That one deserves a song.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
All right, now I want the cape over here.
Jesus, a twofer, guys. Everyone in the chat, if you're not subscribed to this channel, how are you not? My brother Dan is just giving us 2 brand new
I'll get out of the
brand new songs for our new guests. Every time you are a guest on our show, you will be serenaded by the likes of Brother Dan, and Headski is on the move. Where is he going? He looks like he's going into Tavern. This is like a Tomb Raider video game. Headski, roll left, roll right. All right. Oh my gosh, we have dramatic lighting changes. The chat is just going crazy for Headski. We all love Headski. Headski is universally renowned for being one of the greatest commenters in the history of Wheel of Time.
Bit better, no, it's all right.
Oh, that's way better. Way better. Oh man, that's like a. Oh, and then we lost.
We lost it.
No, dang it.
That's like a Kramer exit. Hey, he finally gets it right, and he's like, "I'm out."
I love it. No, see what it was. Zach figured it out. Zach's like, Headski must be witness protection. He's like, oh shit, gotta go.
Oh man. Well, he's that quick, man. He is that quick.
I hope he's not always that quick.
All right, well,
Brother Dan, just keep going. This is
all
great.
right, fine. All right, fine. I'll just.
All right, yeah, you're just like you play background music. All right.
This is what the tavern is. I'm just playing a little guitar.
If you haven't already, let's give this a like and subscribe. Like I had already mentioned, this is great. We have 28 watching and only 13 thumbs up. What's going on? Let's go. Easiest thing you guys can do to help us out.
Yeah.
Hit that thumb.
Don't be dumb. You know, I've had to go to the effort of possessing a human being to shove his hand up my body and animate me so I could do the kind of content that I want to do. This human who's sitting here, he is not doing this of his own free will. Let me tell you, if you are under the impression that the IRL Ryan is having a good time, he is not. He fears me greatly. I put Chucky to shame. I make him buy me clothes. I make him buy me. I make him ply me with drugs on a daily. Not to mention the massages I order. This is he's maxed out his credit cards just to make me happy, but this is more important to me than it is to him for sure. So Pepper Ryan wants you to know Bill Ryan is crying out for help.
I honestly thought we were getting some kind of spoken word poetry going on.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I was doing.
Dan strumming in the background. I was like, oh, okay.
Wait, that wasn't?
We've had a message from Hedsky. He's like, I'm so sorry, can't keep my connection. Hedsky, it's just very clear, as I've already said, Zach figured it out. You're in witness protection, you've been busted, and you had to go run. So it's fine, mate.
All right. Well,
I'll save the song. I'll save the
and
song.
I had videos saved for you and everything, mate. You know, I had, stuff.
Good
And then we were gonna ask you.
Can I be Australian, mate?
yeah. He's like, he's already happy he left. He's like, goodness, I'm so glad I left.
Wait till you next time, buddy. I'll get better videos.
Well, as my other favorite Australian would say, I miss him already.
I miss him already.
All right.
Oh,
He would want us to go on, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me just remind everyone, we're going to sit and chit chat for a bit about where we are up to the chapters we are in the first time reader show. And that is book 2, chapters 4 and 5. We're going to try and roughly stay around ideas and characters and happenstances that have happened. And then we're going to wildly speculate forward. Our guests are our mentors. My brother and I are dumb puppets. We read these series a long time ago, and we stopped reading altogether and got really into Joe Rogan's podcast. It's a whole side story. We won't get into it. Spent a lot of time. But then
Ryan started doing Alpha Brain. He started drinking ayahuasca. He was like, oh, man, he sat in like an ice cube tent. Yeah, it was really, bro, it's so good. It's so good, bro.
I was pumped.
You were so pumped, dude.
But
you're powerful.
Yeah, spent a lot of time in a certain person's garage. But I got out of this, and we are now in our first reread, and this is exactly where we are, book 2, chapters 4 and 5. So we forget a lot of stuff. So
yeah, forgive us. But this is spoilers, full spoilers. But forgive us. We're not fully versed. But I do want to talk about Moiraine and Swan.
So our guests are our experts, and they will feel free to pontificate wildly, correct us fervently.
Oh, shit, Ryan, I forgot.
What?
I forgot the five vital questions.
Oh, yes.
For our guests. 5 questions. 5 questions. All right, Morgan, as is another tradition, we do ask our guests a couple real easy kind of Wheel of Time based questions just to get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen a proper palace?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever eaten anything you would call a honey cake?
Yes.
Okay.
Euphemistically? Wait. Euphemistically or?
Both. How's my audio? Is it okay?
That sounded great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any circus skills? And that would be like if you could do Rubik's Cube real fast, you could do math in your head real fast. You can do a cartwheel. I mean, my bar for circus skills is pretty low at this point.
In what circus does one do a Rubik's Cube fast or math or any of those things.
Like geek high school nerd Olympics.
I was thinking like wielding a whip, like a lion tamer or something like that.
Ooh.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was putting that forth as a suggestion.
My head canon now.
Believe that.
Morgan tracks whips, tames lions. There we go.
Tightrope.
Tightrope? No.
Unicycle riding. I'm thinking circus, guys.
Circus.
Can you juggle?
No.
Can you coordinate events really well?
Fuck no.
Can you juggle your life? Yeah.
How are you with knives?
Okay, so I'm okay with knives in the sense that I have reasonable manual dexterity and I can disassemble and reassemble them. But I do, for safety's sake, wear Kevlar gloves because I am clumsy.
Okay. Oh my god! Okay. Hashtag reasonable manual dexterity.
Hashtag Kevlar gloves.
Wow.
You seem to have created some kind of canon for you, Morgan, that you are actually a lion tamer.
So,
yes.
Kevlar gloves, can you take like a pot roast out of the oven with them? Or will they get hot?
I don't know if Kevlar gloves are used for oven work. The ones that I have are basically just like they have a cut level, and you can still use scissors to shear off the fingertips. It takes a lot of work, but I just have the thumb and forefinger cut off so that I can use my fingertips. But
Wow.
But I wouldn't use them to take anything out of the oven.
I wouldn't think that would be a good idea.
Kevlar's bulletproof, right?
In the right combination, yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends.
So if someone shot at you, you can just block it with your hand, maybe?
I wouldn't try it. But yeah, because I think it depends. It's like some Kevlar is not stab proof, but is considered bulletproof. So I think it depends on the material science, like the weave of the Kevlar. So there are stab proof vests with Kevlar, and I'm assuming, it would be how it was woven together. So my gloves are cut proof, but I would not think bulletproof. I don't know. I don't want anyone to shoot me in the hands.
But
or anything else whatsoever.
If someone shoots at me, I'll go, Morgan, put up your hand. And you'll just fly in. Block. There you go.
It's like Wonder Woman style.
I don't know. I have a cool imagination. I saw it in my head. All right. Well, final question. You have an hour to have beers with a very, very drunk and very, very blabbermouth. He just wants to spill the beans about everything. You can sit with Tamathor. You can sit with Asmodean, or you can sit with Swan Sanche. Who would you choose to spend your hour with?
I bet this is going to be a great answer.
I feel like Tam would be like a really sad and over emotional drunk, and so it would be awkward. And I feel like Asmodean would be a total tool. I'm trying to decide whether Swan would be a happy or aggressive drunk. But either way, I feel like she would have really good information, and so it might be worth, if she were an aggressive drunk, dealing with whatever bullshit she would dish out just for the gossip. So I think I would go with Swan.
Okay.
Swan would definitely want to play pool. Tam wouldn't really want to play pool, but he would be super awesome at it. Asmodean would just be hanging out by the jukebox.
We've got some ideas from chat. Dan says that he would definitely eat fish and drink beer with Swan. And then we get in some hashtags getting fishy with it.
Nice.
Yes.
And apparently, if you drink with Swan, the cussing gets greater when she drinks.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Now I feel like the Swan that
Morgan,
we meet. I feel like the Swan that we meet in these chapters would absolutely be an aggressive drunk.
I think so too.
Oh, she's on the knife's edge. I feel when we meet
She's
her.
aggressive regardless. So yeah, I would think that she would, but she might not be. She might be one of those people who becomes very, warm and affectionate when she's drunk as well. So who knows?
That's what I'm picturing. I'm picturing the overbearing boss that after hours just kind of lets loose at a bar.
Where it's almost
like,
even more uncomfortable.
And you're like, yeah, but you're like, wow, you're actually kind of cool, but yeah, I don't want any more hugs. Thanks.
Yeah, she's like, oh, aren't you a prince? I used to talk about princes. I used to dream about princes. Oh, come here. Wait, are you from the mailroom? Come here, Prince.
Come here. I'm calling him Prince.
Leah has the best ending to her evening, though, because apparently she then finishes up her evening by going and finding Gareth Bryn and getting laid.
Yeah, baby. I wrote a song about that. Do you want to hear it? No, I'm just kidding.
On the Lear. All right, so let's get into it. There's so much, they say and whatever. I wanted to. Dan, you had some thoughts about what.
Okay, yeah. Ryan, let me take this. So guys, when I read about the travels of Moiraine, when I read about
already, obviously,
suddenly Swan and Moiraine are there. We hear a great deal. We knew that she had been gone for 20 years. We hear in the books that she had sent 2 letters. I don't know if those are the only 2 she sent in the 20 years. I have to assume probably not, but she emphasized, I only heard from you 2 times, to say you were going to the 2 rivers and then saying you're going to Faldara. There's a lot of logistics. So as far as your understanding, guys, if an Aes Sedai is out for 20 years, how does she and Lan have so much money just on their person at any given time? Oh, sorry about that boat. Here, plunk, clink, 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 clink. Oh, it's a drag. Here. Oh, here's for all your guys too. They were awesome. Clink, 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 clink. I mean, she's just throwing coin around like left and right. That's got to be pretty heavy if you're traveling around 20 years with a lot of silver and gold.
Who's answering?
You may.
Oh, okay. So they weren't out for 20 years. They do occasionally come back into Tarvalon. Anaya specifically, when she and Leandrin go to get Moiraine, say, this time you've been gone for too long. I break it down in one of my episodes because I'm trying to figure out exactly how long she's been gone. And I figure the first time that she left the tower, she has to be gone for more than 5 years, because the first time she leaves without permission and specific violation of the Amerlin Seat's orders, a particularly mean and horrible Amerlin Seat. So she had to wait till she died to come back, and she didn't die for at least 5 years. But they have a pretty complex banking system in Randland, and they have letters of rights, which are basically checks that you can draw among banks, and the only difference is that it's less money the further away from the bank of origin because of just like the hassle over distance. So, and I think Moiraine just has fat sacks. And the White Tower,
stupid fat sacks.
Yeah, and the White Tower issues significant amounts of money. Like Aes Sedai have a yearly salary, so Moiraine checks in occasionally, and so I'm assuming that if RJ had managed to write the other 2 prequels, he would have shown her checking in. But yeah, so it's not that they were carrying all that money around. She's just able to access banking houses and get money.
Okay, that makes sense. They still had a shitload of money.
Yeah.
So they must have taken quite the withdrawal when they were out. I mean, it wasn't a vault load or whatever, but still, Rand had that 1 coin, and he's like, oh my God, I could like buy whatever I want. I'm seriously, I can buy whatever I want with this 1 coin in a village. She comes in all dressed to the nines. They're just throwing money around like it's, oh, here, 1 for you and 1 for you. You get a car, you get a car. Like she's Oprah.
Everybody.
Yeah. Like, wow, that must be hard to travel with so much coin.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing that they also traveled with like it in large denominations, so probably had gold crowns, and then when they go through major cities, they would break it down into smaller, so they would trade in for marks, and then you have silver crowns and silver marks, I'm assuming, so you can break it down. She gives Rand and Matt and Perrin like a silver mark, which is basically the smallest denomination beyond like coppers. So I'm guessing that they carry, you know, like the Randland version of, you know, $100 bills or whatever in, you know, as far as gold crowns. So they've got, you know, the most money for the smallest amount of weight, and then they have smaller denominations. But I'm sure it's heavy. It's gold.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about the logistics of just traveling around.
Oh, I do too. Yeah.
Always having so much money, and I guess it's no big deal. But that thing's got to be clinking at some point when they're riding. All right, gallop, clink, clink, clink. You just hear all these coins splashing around in the bag.
Well, I'm guessing he probably has like front saddlebags on Mandor just for all the money to like counterbalance it. And maybe it adds a little extra weight because it's a war horse. So he's got like all the gold on the front so he can like, you know, strike with his sword, and he comes down and he brings like all the gold down on it too. Nice. I'm guessing like it's boring logistics, but probably one of the first things that they do when they go into any new city is like Lon goes to the bank and gets more money.
He just walks in and goes,
Money, 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 money.
Dr. T, baby.
sorry, Morgan.
No, that's good.
Oh, you're fine.
Now, okay, do you remember the first time? Okay, can you possibly go back and put yourself in your mindset when you first read through to this point in the series, and your opinions of Moiraine?
I always really liked Moiraine. She was very mysterious, but I also had like a hardcore crush on her. So, she.
High five there.
I was.
Okay.
So. So,
do you remember were you surprised when they finally broke down and you know hugged and showed their friendship? Yeah,
very much so. I found that, you know, the way he set up that scene was great because he really built it like, oh shit, she's in a lot of trouble, and then when the whole like reveal of, oh, this is a co-conspirator is really well done. It was quite a surprise.
Did you have did you pick up on any foreshadowing on your first reread about the depth of the relationship?
No, because I don't know, the way that the first book is written, you really get almost nothing about the Aes Sedai as a whole. You don't even really hear anything about Tar Valon beyond, you know, there are Aes Sedai and warders there until Lon and Moiraine rescue Perrin and Egwene from the White Cloaks, and then Lon kind of tells Perrin there are factions in Tar Valon. Some fight the Dark One one way, some fight the Dark One another, and that's like all you hear. And then you hear, you know, in Caemlyn that there's like the Red Aja blame the Ogier for extending the breaking of the world by giving, you know, shelter to male channelers in the setting. And, you know, Rand has an uncomfortable encounter with Elida. And so you get an idea that not all Aes Sedai are the same, but you don't hear anything else. And so when the Aes Sedai show up in Feldara at the beginning of the Great Hunt, it's very much like new and out of the blue, which is, you know, I don't know if he just didn't know if he was going to get anything published beyond the first book, or if he just decided to do it that way because he's doing unreliable narrator. And so it's a way to kind of do world building out of Rand's ignorance. And it does a good like bit with juxtaposition that way.
Right. And there is quite a few in this reread that we're doing. There's quite a few instances of unreliable narrators, including Tom Maryland himself. He was saying, oh, I got stories to tell. And one of the things he said is how he would tell the story of how the dragon
tried to free the Dark One.
Yeah, tried to free the Dark One and broke, and the Aes Sedai broke the world. But it was, I don't remember how it was worded, but it was wrong. It was it was the exact opposite of what happened. And I thought, oh, snap. Disinformation, especially when we have what seems to be a pretty smart, I won't say smart wise, but smart, like can memorize shit really well land. So Loyal's like, oh, hey, I saw a map of Faldara once. I could draw a map for you. I saw it once. All these people with the prophecies that they saw 20 years ago, they heard it once, and they remember it to the word what it is. It seems like these people have pretty goddamn good memories, like better than most in life. You can pretty much rely on some of these memories. So that juxtaposition to have an unreliable narrator and have someone who's an authority like Tom be wrong, so blatantly wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's interesting.
I mean, we literally have like prophecies that are like manipulated by Forsaken. Like how much more can we, and what that does to the unreliable narrative perspective, because entire peoples are believing one thing that is not necessarily accurate and behaving in accordance.
Well, okay, so you got to look at our time about biblical texts. So imagine Randland and the Trolloc Wars. So the Trolloc Wars, if you're comparing it to our time, take place around the time of Christ. And if you're looking at the breaking of the world, it takes place around, like the boar would have been drilled around the time of the Trojan War. And the actual breaking would have been taking place around the time of King David. And so you're thinking about like texts and stories being told the way, things like biblical stories are told, or Greek stories are told and retold. And he tells you in your first paragraph that legends are fading to myth and being told, and it's long forgotten. And so he kind of does that purposefully as he's scrambling things together to retell them. And it's really very skillfully and subtly done, which is one of the reasons why, it's like the Wheel of Time is basically written to be reread. So it's like you can read it through the first time as an adventure story, and then you go through and read it through the second time to appreciate, foreshadowing and Easter eggs. And each time you're rereading it, you're getting more and more. I mean, I've reread The Eye of the World literally dozens of times, and I've just, like, for this latest episode that I'm doing, I just found something in The Eye of the World, going back and looking for a quote where I was just like, this is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, are you going to tell us? No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to. Everyone, go to Morgan's podcast. We will have all of her information in the description of this video. You can find her on Discord. But yeah, if you like this level of analysis, holy crap.
This level with like backup and documentation and saying, okay, so here in the Dragon Reborn, here in chapter 8, it says this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I mean, my first reread, I've read it like a YA erotica, and it worked well. I gotta say, it stood the test, and then because I'm steeped in that world,
What was your favorite
channel?
Never mind.
All right.
But I do. Okay, let me ask you a question about these chapters again. So what we have just coming up when there's the Battle of the Trollocs inside the Keep of Faldara. Ingtar seems like a pretty good guy. Does he take on that Myrddraal? So Rand is there, he's about to take on a Myrddraal. Myrddraal just killed 7 dudes. He's kind of laughing, slithering over to Rand. Rand's like, oh no. He's like, I got this one, boy. And he's all grimacing at him. It seems like Ingtar is going balls deep, like just, I'm gonna kill this Myrddraal. We learn later that Ingtar is on the same team as the Myrddraal. But he put on a pretty damn good show just for one kid to say, go on, go find your girl, go find Egwin. I got him. Ingtar came out of nowhere for me. Like out of nowhere. The guy was, I guess unless you want to find the coolest dude and make him bad, then do that. Then sure. Then Land's going to be a dark friend too. But I don't know. Yeah. Ingtar was cool. His being a dark friend came out of nowhere. Did you guys kind of pick up on that at all when it was going on? Yeah. Big touch balls deep, baby. Into a Myrddraal.
Wait, you can think about that question, Brother Dan. Upon my second reread, Ingtar is kind of a douche. I thought I liked him in first read, but the second reread, I mean my first reread, what? The second time through, he's super like he listens to Joe Rogan on repeat. I got out of that world, he never got out.
Did you find him to be a dark friend though? Like a heavy duty dark friend?
No,
like
I didn't
probably
predict
the dark friend social?
No, this is common knowledge. I did not predict anything. I thought these people were like country bumpkins. I thought they were religious zealots. I thought nothing mattered. I thought they were just like, oh, we all believe stupid shit. And like I just thought it was cool that the characters leveled up all crazy fast. But no, yeah, I didn't read this very well. So yeah, I didn't pick up on anything.
Yeah. Was it obvious to you guys, Rob? Was it obvious to you at all? Was there anything that rang out that Ingtar was a bad dude before it came out?
No, I thought he was too obsessive about the horn. Like, you know, I was like, dude, like, I feel like they've taken your personal horn, not just the horn of the Lear. Like, that's like,
is that your daddy's horn?
Yeah, I was like, you are very obsessed with this horn, like, obscenely obsessed, like, unhealthily obsessed with this horn. And I was like, that means
but
you
we also saw how pissed
But in
off
terms
he
of
was.
being a dark friend, I didn't think he was a dark friend.
Yeah, we also saw how pissed off he was not to go to Tarwin's Gap. So he was an aggressive dude for duty.
Yeah, for that, I just thought he wants to kill Trollocs, and you know, he's been given a job that means you can't go into the Blight and protect, you know, the Aes Sedai and her water and these country bumpkins, but that will also stop you then fighting with your comrades at this very important battle. You know, like, if your whole world is fighting and defeating Shadowspawn, and you are literally put into a position where you are unable to do that, no matter how fast or how good you are, that's going to piss you off, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
I
I
hear what you're saying. But he was a dark friend the whole time, though.
Yes.
So yeah, his reaction seemed pretty. He was faking it pretty good, unless he really just hates Trollocs. Anyways,
I mean, does anybody like Trollocs?
Well, I don't know. You work with one. Does anyone like him?
He's Trolloc adjacent. He's Trolloc adjacent at this point. Like, you know, he's basically like 7 of 9 of the like. He is to Trollocs what 7 of 9 is to the Borg. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Hey, real quick,
I've been watching a lot of Voyager recently. Sorry, you know, if it had been last month, you'd asked me that question, I would have done a Deep Space Nine reference. So, you know, yes, I love Star Trek. Sorry.
All right, so
yeah, I didn't understand that reference, but I knew it was Star Trek, and I went, people are getting it. Right on. Keep going.
Nothing against you if you don't like Star Trek. It's all good. You still love you.
All right, real quick, everyone, let's say thank you to Headski. We will get you on again soon. Headski is a dear friend of the show.
Quick story of Headski. Headski jumped on to our chat very early on and said, hey, guys, I'm watching the show on my 15-minute break at work. Yep. So we shut down the show so that it could be Headski's show, whatever he wanted. He didn't give us any demand. So I sang a song, and this is when we were trying to be clean at the time. And
back in the day, Morgan, we had a 1 month span of us being like, all right, we're not going to cuss. We're not going to cuss.
We're not going to cuss. We're all
does this.
And so terrible. I was singing about like, he's an Aussie. It's really cool. He's at work. He only has a 15-minute break. And then I just screamed, fuck the man. And I was like, oh no.
Your puppet, you actually did that as well. It wasn't just that you said that.
Oh shit. I forgot. I mean, I'm like, oh no, sorry guys. And I think we had a kid watching, so we're like, this isn't gonna work. Let's just take the shackles off.
Yeah. All barriers are broken, as they say.
This is why there is typically at least 2 or 3 times throughout the show a banner that says "not suitable for children."
No. Well, usually we're fine. Like I said, we don't get vulgar. We're not.
You just said somebody was balls deep in a Myrdle, dude.
Called out.
All right. Oh, good. Okay. Your point is valid.
We have no compass.
Your Honor, I rest my.
We have no compass right now.
And just for a little like content creator cross reference, there's a TV show called, a podcast called the Randland TV podcast that has an episode called "Do Murder'll Have Buttholes?" So just
we solved that for them. What? All right. We need to get them on.
Yeah,
help us connect with that show, please.
And I was like, oh, this is obviously a worthwhile podcast for my time and attention. So,
yeah. Oh well.
Kim also has a good point, by the way. We Don't Get Vulgar opens the show with a song about weed and masturbation.
Well, okay. Could have gotten vulgar.
People are loving it, Dana's like, this is going to take me.
All right, so I got vulgar there, and then I didn't.
Okay.
And thank you, Delusions, for that.
I don't think we've ever been more exposed.
Delusions. Oh, geez, you threw that stupid song. Oh, no.
Hey, I bet I can get that as a video to play.
of Delusion singing it?
No, just the song. Oh, no, it's not there. Damn it. Delusions, I need to record you singing it, and then we can play it in the show.
Oh, yeah. There's a few clips.
Yep.
There's a few.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
We were talking about Inktar.
Oh, yes.
We're talking about Inktar, but we can shift back. We're fluid.
Whatever. I have a whole episode about Inktar. It was my last episode, so
yes,
I explored that whole thing, and no, I did not have any idea. But I
explored that whole. Sorry.
As you said that first
I think RJ kind of used him to do a nice like compare contrast foil. So you had Leandrin as like, the mean, awful dark friend, and then him as like, like the quiet foil to her. So you had like two dark friends in the story. I mean, and you also have like the man who called himself Bors, but since he doesn't come back until the next book, it's just like you have two main dark friends in the second book. And, you have the mean, awful one who's like so outrageously awful that I feel like he didn't even want us to think she was a dark friend. He wanted her to be like so obviously terrible that everybody would be like, she can't be a dark friend. And then Inktar being kind of like the quiet one who, with the redemption arc. So,
yeah. Did you pick up that he was dark when you were reading?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I'm glad I wasn't alone. I didn't pick up much.
Honestly, I don't pick up on anything. I didn't even know Ran was the Dragon Reborn when I was reading the first book. That's how oblivious I was. I had it spoiled for me. I was in the store and I didn't even know the book was part of a series. I was in the store and I saw a book called The Dragon Reborn, and I was like, I was probably, I don't know, maybe had like 10 chapters left or something. And I was like, I know what a Dragon Reborn is. And I pulled it off the shelf and it said Randall Thor is the Dragon Reborn on the back. And I was like, what? No way. Yeah. So that's
from RJ himself.
So that's, I don't pick up on anything. I was not a critical reader.
Well, now it's like, that IO looking kid in the farm where no one else looks like IO. And okay. Yeah, that might give a clue. But I didn't pick up either. I'm dumb. Ryan and I are dumb. But we're
like smart dumb.
It's just this reread though, we're doing like at least I'm going through this each chapter like 5 or 6 times, like prepping for the show. And so I'm like the master of every chapter we do because I just memorized it. Yeah. And I still suck. Yeah.
Yeah. We still suck. Yeah. No, I'm like dumb smart. Here, let me break it down. I'm dumb smart. I'm like the dark one. I have like a limited like scope. If I focus on you, you're getting all this dark one juice. You're gonna be able to get. You're gonna get plagues. You're gonna get power. You're gonna get whatever you want or don't want, which is my intelligence. If I'm really into it, boom, I'm hella smart.
Yeah.
But I'm dumb smart. So everywhere else that I'm not focused on, I'm just dumb about it. And I'm unapologetically dumb. I don't know engines. I don't know how to fix locks. I don't know how to fix anything. I don't know how to. Yeah. So yeah, dumb smart. What? All right.
It's the spikes on your shoulders, Ryan. It does us up. It's your
That was
T-Rex.
going to be a season 4 reveal.
Oh.
Jesus.
Sorry.
That was for Patreons only, bud.
All right, go on. Sorry, I just got really offended by you calling me dumb. I was like, well, I'm kind of dumb smart. It's like, it didn't fit well. That's what the Murdrell said.
It didn't fit well.
God.
I'm gonna explore this one.
Oh, wow.
Do we want to take a little break right now, Ryan? Where's he at? I want to get
he's disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah, he said yes. You didn't need the pop video back on. We can still hear you, Ryan.
All right. What we're gonna do real fast is we're gonna take a little 10-minute break. We want to get our new friend in. We have a new segment at the end of the break, so we're gonna take our break now. Hopefully Ryan will be back with me to co-host.
Wait, Ryan, you need to play the music.
There you go. But we'll see you in 10 minutes. Hang out. We're really excited about this next segment we have. We're going to talk to our friend Floaty. So hang out with us, please. And everyone, mute your mics if you can. It makes it easier.
Ryan needs to play some music. He's disappeared.
Ryan needs to play music.
Come on, Ryan, sort it out. Wait, let me see. Let me open something. Hey, there we go. Cool.
Substrate shockwave originated at bearing 18 stream mark 75. Location. Praxis.
Main menu. To listen to your message, press 1. To send a message, press 2. To check receipt of a message, press 3. First saved message.
happening to me, and it's something that I didn't create, and I can't control it.
It's okay.
I feel connected to everything at the same time, and I'm.
Oh yeah,
and we are
front.
back.
We're front. No, we're back.
We are back. Yes. Whew. Oh, that was a musical journey, guys. Thanks for listening. That's my band, Homunculus Rex. You can find us on SoundCloud.
Hurrah! Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, guys. Let's just swing right into it. We have a new guest hanging out, and we have a new segment that's coming on as well. So let's bring our guest in. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. Delusions of Grendel, guys. Bam.
Oh, and here
good
we go.
evening. Good evening.
and our new segment. Guys, I don't mean to brag. I don't like to gloat. But it is time for the way of the float.
Yes, the way of the flow.
Oh, there he is reading. Oh, you're reading. All right. Let's wait till he gets to the end of the chapter. And all right, where you at? Floaty, there you are. Done and done. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to float is with us. I'm very happy to have you, my friend.
Thank you.
This is the first time that I think that you've done a show like this.
Yes.
So we are safety nets. We are airbags. We are warm cushions to cushion. So we are here to talk about. So you are a first time reader. You are just ahead of where we are at in our show.
I just finished chapter 10.
Chapter 10. We are on chapters 4 and 5. And in our Discord, we met you through our Discord. You're our great Discord friend. You have come up with some great questions, some great theories, and some great ideas about the series that we wanted to give you your own little section. So regarding chapters 4 and 5, what did you want to talk about?
Okay, first of all, from chapter 4, I'm thinking Leandra is up to... Basically, I think she was helping free Thane. So then,
okay.
Oh.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry.
You're good. So you think Leandrin and Thane are somehow linked together, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
And then my first theory from chapter 4, I'm thinking Leandrin is up to something, and I think she's up to she secretly has Tom hidden somewhere. After, knocking him out or drugging him and then possibly kidnapping him. No biggie.
Yeah, no biggie.
All right. So Tom got kidnapped by Leandrin?
Yes.
Is Tom at Faldara, do you think?
Possibly.
Wow. So you're on the train that Tom is definitely alive.
Why, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Hot take.
That is a hot take.
And then from chapter 5, the book they talked about, I think it was called The Dance of the Hawk and the Hummingbird.
Okay, go on.
I'm pretty sure. I found it ironic that they said conduct of men towards women first, and then they said women towards men. And I implied that meant that the women were in more power than the men were, and they had to listen to them, sort of thing.
Wow. What a great... That is implied in the title. That's amazing. So, can you read the name of the author?
I did not put it down. I'm so sorry.
For me, I read that as Tevin Erwin. And I think that's Robert Jordan's, little... joke, right? Like to name the author of that book telling men and women how they need to behave. He called him Tevin Airwin, like he's a windbag, like he's full of wind.
Yeah, Airwin, just blah blah blah, nothing of substance. I like that.
So what do you think of that? What do you think of that? What do you think having that book means for the person who has that book?
For instance, if it's a woman, they have more power over the men in the room, versus if a man has it, that they have less power than the women in the room they're in.
Is that why they were all giggling when they were reading out loud?
Perhaps.
Okay. Nice.
Great.
What do you think the power dynamic is like at Faldara? We know that Algamar's in charge, but we also know that there's a Shania that's in charge that has pretty much close to the same powers that he may have. And his sister, Annalisa, certainly has her own powers in her own right. What do you think the power dynamic is gender-wise in Faldara itself, in the Shinar?
I believe that the women have more power over the men since the Amerlin seat showed up.
Okay.
Oh,
Having all the conversations with, let's say, Moiraine, and then that other one, sort of thing.
Oh, good point. Nice.
And we
nice.
also know that the men cannot enter the women's apartments unless invited. Not even the king can go in there.
Nope.
So I don't know if that's just basic respect or power, but there is certainly that sort of leniency given, I guess. Do you guys have any delusions, or Morgan? Do you have any thoughts about these? About what we're talking about?
Oh, I've just got my water wings on for floaty time.
All right, no, beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Floaty, now think about your whole experience of reading book one. What were you most surprised at the end with learning?
With what?
Like what surprised you the most? What have you been most surprised by in the book so far?
In book one?
All the way, everywhere up to where we are now.
Yeah.
So, example from book one, I was like, when they had the final battle with the Eye of the World, I was not expecting it to disappear and then have things inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, what are these supposed to do for us?
It was very Legend of Zelda. Hey?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You collect the treasure when you beat the bad guy?
Yeah, and it just appears out of nowhere, and you get, like, fun artifacts. A new horn, a banner.
They don't even know we're in there.
Yeah, the Eye of the World was the coolest locker in the world.
Oh, yeah.
It really was. It was. Remember Geraldo Rivera and the vault? It was like there is actually something really in the vault.
They didn't even know, yeah. So, what are your thoughts about Aes Sedai, Floaty?
I have mixed emotions about them. At some points, I can figure out whether they're telling the truth for the most part, but then some points I'm like, no, I don't trust you right now. Sorry.
Sorry.
I say bye.
Hashtag sorry.
Yeah.
More like bye, Sedai, am I right?
Bye.
Exactly. And then I was very, also from chapter 5, I was very mesmerized by what they were trying to figure out what Faye was looking at the end of chapter 5 in his jail cell.
What do you think he was? He was staring up. What do you think his eyes were locked on?
Probably whoever helped him escape.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Who do you think that is?
Leandrin.
So he was staring at Leandrin?
Perhaps.
Okay. Here's one thing you brought up. You mentioned in your notes, the grave is no bar to my call is inscribed on the horn. And what do you think that is talking about?
I'm honestly not sure.
Okay. That's a fair answer.
When I read that, I was like, what the heck is it supposed to even referring to? When it just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, what is this inscription for?
Yep. Well, yeah. Okay. That's a very fair answer. Good job.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we kind of move on?
So, I was wanting to mention when Thane says it's not over yet. That battle's never over. What I thought was either something is going to happen with Rand. Possibly he might die in book 3, but so there's that. And then I also think that means that the battle between Ba'alzamon and Rand will never be over until he's dead.
Okay. Until Rand's dead or until Ba'alzamon's dead?
Both.
Oh, until everyone's dead.
So yeah, I think Moiraine is gonna die at some point in book 3, and then the war between them two won't end until the Dark One's dead.
Well, the battle that occurred in the end of the Eye of the World was
right.
Rand and Ba'alzamon. Do you think that Ba'alzamon survived that battle?
Why, of course.
Okay.
It's quite obvious. since we've already met him
Awesome.
in book 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think Rand's getting a little cocky, just yelling "shy tan," and doing a little jig?
Oh, no!
Oh yeah. And then the fact that this may not be from 4 or 5, but the fact that Ram was assured that Beelzebub was dead, I was like, what the heck? You're so stupid. Stop it.
Right.
Yeah, what
It's
the
a common
heck?
theme throughout the books.
What the
Right?
Yes.
He is
Yes.
bravado. Tornado.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Mr. Floaty.
Thank you.
I think this went wonderfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you
my
for
friend.
having me.
You're welcome. Guys, everyone, time to float. He's on our Discord. He's a great guy. When you see him, say hi.
Say what's up. All right, Floaty, it's time.
Enjoy your Sunday. We'll talk to you soon, my man.
Okay.
Float away. Float away. All right.
I'll float on away.
I am just brimming with joy right now. Yes.
Yeah, both. That went well.
Way of the float! Oh my god.
Way of the float.
All right,
Yeah.
the way of the float is going to be a hit. All right, so this man cannot listen anymore.
Yeah,
We
go
gotta
away
keep-
now, Floaty.
You cannot listen anymore. We are not going to talk about you behind your back, but we will not. We're going to spoil the heck out of it. And I'm going to open the tavern door again.
We all stepped out for a smoke. We all kicked that squeaky door open. We saw the light.
No, it's like in every great adventure movie where the door is just so slowly closing for you conveniently. Everyone can get out in the nick of time.
So, Morgan, you had said you had seen a proper palace. Where was this at?
In the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it Buckingham?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on. I want to see that one day.
Yeah, it was, and then I saw a handful of other castles, which weren't technically palaces, just like smaller ruined castles, which honestly are cooler. So particularly one in Wales that we checked out. That was I can't pronounce it because I can't do the at the front, but but Rob's are their mics on?
Why was my mic muted?
Yeah, I was gonna say they're muted.
Yeah, you're muted right now too, Doug.
Yeah, I think
on purpose.
Sean's making dinner like he's smashing the patriarchy.
But yeah, I went to the UK back in '95 as a graduation present, and so that was I was did England and Wales in like I don't know, probably about 5 days, and then we spent the rest of the time in Ireland. And it was just like a trip that was organized by one of my teachers, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's amazing. So it's been like 26
5 years, 6
Yeah.
years, yeah, a long time. So
I was actually supposed to go to Ireland this last summer, and some pandemic or something. I don't know what.
Heard rumors of that.
Peter Pandemic.
Wait, I thought it was because you didn't have any fingerprints.
Yeah, you need to fingerprints for passports. Come on, you know. Like,
No, I have a chip in my tongue.
That's why.
right.
That's
okay.
why for Jordan Con, I'm just gonna be thumbing it. That's not gonna work. Shoot.
No, like,
I guess
I
thumbing
can't do
it's
anything
better than
else.
fisting it.
I mean,
Well, that's why we brought you on, Delusions.
Yeah, we're
Ryan-
here to talk
around
about
because
what
he's
is
got really. Yeah, Ryan struggles to get him because he's got really.
This has been established. Malky. I'm so
I'll
getting
get it for you,
trolled.
Ryan.
That's why I have the dinosaur with the smallest arms. Me and him, man, our bites fierce. Our arms are teeny tiny. Look at this. Look at all right, all the way up, brother Dan. Brother Dan, show me off. Wait, what? Oh, look at that shit!
If I'm drowning, I have 2 more seconds than you.
I think that's a circus trick right there. More like the old timey circuses when women had
What, having long
mustaches. Huh?
Having long arms?
No, that if you just had excessive hair, they would put you on stage and call you a monster.
Yeah.
We're getting some love for Floaty in the chat.
What is inside a Mirajol's
Thank you,
butthole?
Adrian.
I always want to know.
It's your butthole.
That's the best I could do. Sorry, Delusions.
Yeah, you got to watch out. Your search engine's gonna go like you're gonna get some like red flags.
Or just like some targeted OnlyFans.
Yeah, I hope you're an incognito, bro.
That's how you do it. Always going to be incognito.
We're allowed to do like up to 5 seconds or something, or 3 seconds.
All right, well, guys, I brought Delusions on because I thought let's get down into a topic conversation that is near to dear to my heart. I just discovered on this reread the subtle line where Swan Sanche says, "Hey, I'm going to get some wine and cheese. Let's make some plans." And Moiraine says, "Wait, we've been closeted alone together for too long."
Yep.
And I was like, dun, dun, dun!
Why do I not have a dum 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 video?
I rest my case.
I was so thrilled. And yes, go on. What are your guys' thoughts? Like, so that was obviously for reals. Do you think he knew this all along? And what I'm saying by this is that we know that Swan and Moiraine were old pillow friends back in the day. Is this correct?
That's canon.
That's canon.
That's canon. They used the one power. They used the one power on each other. All right. Now, what do you guys? Okay, so several questions. What is one power sex between lesbians? Like, how do you use the one power to? How if you were a one power wielding lesbian, what would you be doing?
I yield my time to Morgan.
Okay, so do you want an answer to that? Because usually this starts out with a question of what are you into?
Nope, that's not what I'm saying. Sorry, go.
No. Yeah, so usually this starts out with a what are you into? And then at that point, like you open the trunk and, so at the point with the one power, you've got to have, it's like you can make restraints, you can use air to make all different...
So Morgan, if I were to tell you I was into finger blast, what would you do with the one power?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you could you could do it with air, you could make So, I mean, personally, if I could channel, I'd be all about making sex furniture out of the one power because I feel like that's a really good and universal use of it, and you could tie off the flows. So yeah, you would use air for that.
That's amazing. Sex furniture, okay. Brilliant.
Go on. Actually, like sex furniture that already exists or like invented.
No, you would just make it as you were going. It's just like, hold on a sec, let me weave the sex furniture, then you tie off the flows, and then you go.
Invisible sex swing. I love it.
Yeah, you could tie a sex swing to the ceiling or whatever, and you could presumably make, I don't see why you can't make like dildos out of air. I don't know if you would have to. You would have to probably maintain the flows if you wanted them to vibrate. But if you just wanted them to be like stationary, I think you could tie that off.
Huh. Do you think Moiraine is using one power sex to sedate Lan, or Lon as you like to call him?
No,
Moiraine.
They don't have sex together.
They don't have sex. No way.
I mean, okay, all right, just wondering.
Yeah, that's
not at all. All right.
No. Yeah.
Do you think that there are
the beginning?
I'm just looking at Delusions right now, and all I'm seeing is...
How dare you!
It's a controversial take. I went there. Sorry.
Yep, and we have suggestions. An
air rod Terangriel. So I'm also thinking you've got to be able to do like electric zaps. If you're into that kind of like stim stuff, you can do that. The possibilities are endless. You just have to have an imagination. So
the whole tying off the weave is I think kind of part of me wants it to be harder for them to be able to like maintain like using the one power and have a sexual experience that they're enjoying. It's like to be able to like concentrate that hard on one thing and then do this other thing would be almost like I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty impressive. But if you can just like build something, tie the weave off, and then go, yeah, like and just jump on that bucket bronco, like that's less impressive.
No,
Right,
I
for
bet you
me-
they're channeling dominatrix. What's plural?
Dominatrices.
Dominatrices. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the confidence that was delivered with. That was just like
I feel like
I was just like, yes, sweet.
Side?
Cool.
I feel like I'm subtly telling people all kinds of things about myself.
I'm here for it. This is the tea that I came in for.
It's Tavern Talk, baby. So actually, I do have a question about the books that I kind of wanted to ask you because you have read this, especially the first book, somewhat often. We have examples where people are executed. We don't really see them on screen, but we hear about them. We hear that a false dragon was burned alive. We heard that. So there was, I think it was Birgit says, well, when you're off to the gallows, toss the hangman a copper and flip off the crowd or some shit like that. Or say, so they do mention the aspect of public executions. Do you think that this is the thing that Rand and the boys have ever seen?
No.
No, we do. Okay, so Ryan and my question: there was what was called a horse thief a few years ago that we don't hear about what happened. We don't hear about any jail. We don't hear about any lockup where it's like, all right, yeah, we kept him for 3 months. And Perrin did cut off a hand in an execution, in a punishment style setting. We wonder what happened to this quote unquote horse thief. Were they just sheltering the boys, I guess, from it, or did they have to kind of?
What horse thief?
There was a horse thief. They said strangers don't come to the village very often.
There was somebody.
There was some stranger, but it turned out it was probably some horse thief.
They were hiding from trouble from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that because of the way that. Sorry, I'm stealing the.
No, take it, Morgan.
No,
sorry.
You're the
Morgan.
guest.
Morgan,
Yeah.
impressive. Perhaps too impressive. Make a note of that.
Yes, I've been saving that for an hour and a half.
Nice one.
So, having given this some thought, I'm guessing that because of the way that the Two Rivers is divided into kind of an egalitarian society with kind of separate but equal governing, and it is kind of intimated, particularly at the end of the Great Hunt, when Nynaeve is passing judgment against the Suldam, and she chooses to leave them both leashed, and says, that is justice, that depending on the types of crimes, I'm assuming that the women's circle deals with things like domestic violence and sex crimes and things like that, and that all of those things are very uncommon in the Two Rivers, but not 100% unknown. And then things like property crimes, probably murder, like, I don't know, maybe the women's circle would deal with like violent crimes and person crimes, and the men's circle would deal with the village council would deal with like property crimes and that kind of stuff. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm guessing that there's never been much where you would actually have to execute anyone. It seemed like the only thing you ever heard of where there was actually murder was many years ago, a woman killed her husband because she wanted to marry someone else. I can't remember when that was brought up, but so never a need to actually hang someone, though it is like, they know about it, because that tends to be their go-to thing. They choose to hang people when they get to that point, but I'm guessing that flogging or whipping would be their chosen thing, and other than
That's
that,
mine.
fines, and I'm guessing just shunning. I feel like because of the insular nature of the Two Rivers, and the fact that everybody's in everybody's business so much, it's really easy to keep people in line just because of the social pressure. And so, yeah, if you're shunned or, everybody's just,
or as we call it, if you're Copland.
I mean, I was going to say, failing that, Nynaeve's got a big stick, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they have instant justice.
Yeah.
In fact, there's six called the Peacemaker.
Justice, but they have instant reactions. There we go.
But also, we should assume that that Elaine. I mean, and Gowan says, "Oh, the Queen's never ordered anyone executed in this room."
Mm-hmm.
So, we assume that the twins and Elaine and whatnot not the twins, but Elaine has seen.
Oh yeah, they've seen.
Oh yeah, for sure, that kind of stuff. Yeah, even Min has seen an execution. But yeah, in the Two Rivers, they're just not. They don't deal with stuff like that. They're a much more peaceful. It's like RJ wanted to make the Shire accept it like reality.
Human edition.
Yeah, like the human edition of the Shire, except realistic. Like, what could realistically evolve in a place where it's controlled enough that you could control the people with, shunning, with like it's such a insulated economy that you could impose like economic sanctions in a way where people would have to fall in line because you could control resources and money in a way that between that and just social pressure.
But to your point, Moiraine was threatened with death, right?
Where?
In the Two Rivers. So there was a Torchlight Committee that was like, we're gonna burn you down. I mean, they were only there for like 3 days.
Well, I think it was like mob mentality, and they didn't actually know what they were going to do. Yeah. They just, got all up in arms.
I bet they burned witches.
I always thought that was a threat of violence as opposed to a threat of death.
That was like a Salem moment for sure. Like that was, that was a moment I think that if they do it correctly in the show, will be more fraught with danger. And Moiraine
you don't think it'll be like Monty Python?
She could have been lit.
Well, they didn't know what they were doing either, because it was just sort of, they were all kind of like, get out, because it was just so, like when people aren't prone to commit crimes or engage in violent acts, it's sort of like you still, say if you break into, a building and you're not a lawless person, you still are prone to like, say stay in line and mill around in an orderly fashion, even if you've technically committed a crime. It's the same way. It's like they aren't inclined to do that kind of stuff, and Rand notices that. So
do you think the Manetheren speech was just a like kind of a mass hypnosis type, right? Like propaganda speech. Like, do you think she awakened the two? Do you think like they're like, oh, like the old blood is alive? Did she make them believe it's alive, and they just started behaving differently?
I think she understands people. And she spent enough time just wandering around and talking to them. She could read the crowd and know that this is not normal behavior for them. And she knew enough about the way that the village worked to know that shame would be enough, and to just be like, you guys are a bunch of lame asses. You used to be cool and now you suck. And just a little bit of, a little bit of showmanship. And it would be probably enough to overawe them without having to hurt anyone.
And to your point, even Lan, he has the boys, and he's like, he sees Moiraine like surrounded by 6 old men with torches, and he's like, let's just hang out and see what she does. If she was in true danger, there would be 6 heads leaving 6 bodies from 3 sword strikes. Chop, chop, chop. Heads going, old man heads, buoy head.
Heads will roll.
But Lance is like, all right, let's just wait and see what she does. She does her, she starts whipping her thing. Whoa! She's like, look at what the blood of my, you guys are squabbling to try and hide like
crap. She's like,
guys are pathetic.
Losers. Yeah.
Weep for what is lost. It ain't with you guys. And then lands off. Okay, cool. Let's go get the horses.
She breaks out the light sticks and does the little rave. Just
right.
So
she's like, you all suck.
One of my wilder theories is that Moiraine actually stole the fireworks from Senbui's thing and attached them to her staff to use as a light show.
So I think it would be awesome if in the show they show like somebody snagging the fireworks and using them as some kind of, incendiary device or ordinance to make good use. Like it would be really useful foreshadowing and this just fucking occurred to me, for Matt to grab a hold of them and use them to fucking kill a Trolloc or something, and that would plant the idea ahead of time.
Oh shit!
I'm sorry. I got to play it again.
Morgan is impressive, perhaps too impressive. Make a note of that.
Just beautiful.
Wow. Where Ryan and I had come up and said, "Well, why the hell would you bring fireworks to a village with thatched roofs? You're just begging for a catastrophe."
Okay, I'm guessing they're lame ass fireworks. So I'm guessing the Two Rivers is like
like Piccolo Pete's.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Two Rivers is like Oregon, where none of the ones that shoot in the air are legal, and it's not like you can just drive across the river to Vancouver and buy the Roman candles and everything like everybody does, So here, if you live in Portland, you're going to drive across the river and you got to pay a sales tax, but it's worth it because you can buy the bottle rockets of the Roman candles and all that shit, and then drive back, and then you can fire off all your illegal fireworks. But you can't do that in the Two Rivers, so all you're gonna have are like the little spinny ones and the little fucking tanks.
Like the ones on the tree, and everyone's just gathered around the tree watching like the sparklers go.
Yeah. So you have some sparklers and the little tanks, that roll along the ground. Which
no, they got those little snakes that grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're like, oh wow, look at that snake grow.
Yeah. Well, I now live in a state that is firework friendly, my friend. I got mortars that I feel like I'm my own baseball game sometimes. I'm like, all right, guys, you just hit a home run. All right. Boom. I'm like, yeah.
Well,
Star Spangled Banner indeed.
Love
it. Considering the forest fires that we dealt with in the fall, I'm not so concerned about not having cool fireworks anymore. That was so alarming that
Morgan, I really liked your point about shunning as a consequence or as a form of discipline and social control, because as we remember, it just reminded me of Rand entering the Two Rivers again, or Edmundfield, and seeing like a Copland's home and seeing that the thatch is all fucked up. And we made some jokes about like how that's kind of Rand's special ability to see thatch and judge people's
he's
roofs.
like, yeah, come on, check your
He's
thatch.
all, look at that, like a spidey sense. Look at those. Yeah, but anyways, like, but it could be literally that they won't hit their roof, right? I never even considered that. Like the implication was that they're so lazy and they won't fix their roof. But what if they just won't fix their roof for them?
Yeah, Sembui's like, nope, I won't do it. Yeah, it could be. And we also thought that, and I'm sure maybe you know about this, but we had like a little talk about Mayor Alvear, how he had been in power for 20 years and Rand had never known another mayor. Perhaps the Coplands were mayors before Mayor Alvear. And it was like a political slogan to be like, don't believe the Copland talk, vote Alvear. And then it just kind of grew to like, Perrin just growing up to say, "Oh, that's just Copland talk." Blah blah blah.
Or maybe
I remember this discussion very well.
Maybe the families are so intermarried because it's like, if you wanted to marry a Copland or a Conger, your family would be like, "Oh hell no," because you can do better than that. Or also maybe if they are doing economic sanctions for poor behavior, it's like they can't afford to pay Senbui to fix the thatch, or Senbui's not going to do it because they're behind on payments, or it's just sort of like it could be this continuing cycle of poverty. And it's sort of like it seems like Rand and the others are not aware of things like, child abuse, like really bad, domestic violence, anything like that. He's very surprised by those kinds of things. And so I wonder, is it that they don't exist in the Two Rivers or almost never because of the types of societal pressures that such a small area is able to enforce? Or is it that nobody can believe that it exists? And so families like the Coplans and the Congers maybe have, like the super creepy uncle or something like that, but nobody wants to believe it. And so it's just sort of like they're shunned and they're like some kind of, horrible insular family like that. So I've kind of wondered about that.
Well, wait. I got someone on the phone. Wait, someone on the phone. Oh, it's a Ewan. It's Ewan from Ewan from the Emmons Field, and he wants to argue with you, saying that child abuse is rampant, and he is a perfect example of how freely he is being swung at violently by strangers.
Yeah. People that aren't even his family, just because he happens to call truth to power. Jesus.
Yeah, they just like strike at him, and he's like doing like ninja. Right. He's like like we can all learn from you and like his ninja ability to dodge.
But Matt threatens him, and Senbui actually like takes a swing at him that he does.
That's fair.
Yeah, and so I think that they're just raised with it. I think that people are always getting hit around there. She carries a stick. She hits people.
Yeah, a stick called justice.
A stick called
Justice is just us.
It's just us, not you. So it's I think that violence to kids is pretty common around there. And remember when Rand and Matt got caught up in the Senbui's orchards? They had to stay up there for hours because he sicked the dogs on them, and dogs.
That wasn't
the
dogs up the tree. That happened on the Gamelin Road.
I'm confusing it. I think they had to wait up for a few hours though while Senbui was like threatening them in his apples, or it was something where I haven't seen you this scared since Senbui chased you up a tree, something like that.
Oh, with Mistress Luhan when Matt powdered her dogs with flour.
Which the way of the leaf is officially opposed to in every way.
Yeah, do not do
book
that.
1 Matt is on my hate list.
Yeah.
I love him. He's hilarious.
Well, then
that counts.
Do not do that. Take a blast.
All right, so real quick, okay, so thinking of book 1 and then even going into like, I guess chapters 4 and 5 of book 2, what instance or event in the book do you wish you could have seen from a different POV? Morgan.
Well, I am always interested in Egwene's POVs throughout the first book, which is why I did, the 3-part episodes, the 3 episodes about her perspective from the Eye of the World, and which is why I actually covered Ravens, because as terrible as it is useful for having before all the trauma perspective of who she is as a person. And admittedly, it is her at 9 years old, but it does show an Egwene who wants to get the fuck out. And it does show a perspective of a woman looking at gender roles in the Two Rivers, and kind of shows RJ how he did actually intend for there to be a chafing at gender roles, and that, it's actually got a lot of really good stuff in it, at least before you get to the point where it's just the giant like vomiting exposition dump that they intended so that children would not be confused, but it was cool to kind of map out what would be going through her head throughout the book, because so much of the Eye of the World doesn't get reflected upon later, and so you don't know how did she feel about what went on in Shatter Logoth, or yeah, so that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, you only get most of what you get is from Rand's like completely inherently hormone driven, like horrible.
Counting her do 100 hairbrushes.
Yes, have we talked? Okay, well, let's get into that. my POV.
100 strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, you jumped the shark. Dan, that's my POV moment. Is Rand watching that?
Yeah. I can't. Yeah. Just drooling.
God. All right, are you, Morgan? Do you have anything more to say about your? Is there a question I could ask you that you have not done a podcast about, Morgan?
I'm only working on episode 17, but it has been through the first 2 books, so I'm sure that there is stuff you can ask me.
Okay, I'm going to work on it because I've been striking out. You were like, oh, well, apparently you should go to episode.
But that's not true because you have asked me things that I haven't done episodes about. You've just
Murdrill's buttholes, for example.
Murdrill's buttholes.
That's your butthole.
There's another podcast that's done episodes about that, but also just there are a lot of things that I've thought about because in order to do episodes, like having to do an episode about the end of the Eye of the World, because what the fuck is going on there? It doesn't make any sense. To do an episode about that, I had to do a lot of thinking because I'm like thinking, what's really happening here? And what was going through his mind to write this? And doing that was like doing a mind puzzle to try to it was so hard and so like it was brutal to the point where like even thinking about it is a little traumatic for me because it was so difficult. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff where I've had to contemplate it just because I'm like, okay, I have to do an episode. I want to do it about this topic, but in order to like get the depth that I want, I'm going to have to think about shit that I never really thought about before. And then I think, wow, I never really read these books nearly as in depth as I thought I did. So
yeah. And you know what? I think when you talk about the characters, your ability to empathize and put yourself in their perspective is astounding. So my belief is that I imagine that's your go-to reading like perspective is going into character deeply, psychology of the characters. That seems to be like your bread and butter. And I love how you're like, going like basically like that's how I read. I read this whole thing more for the characters and more for character development. That's always how I've read and like maybe seen, but because I've never read fantasy before. Have you read fantasy before you read Wheel of Time?
Not a ton. I had read like the Chronicles of Narnia a whole bunch. I read those over and over. And then I had read the Lord of the Rings, but beyond that, it wasn't really what I read. I read more just like regular fiction, fiction about the human condition.
Well, okay. Top 5 favorite non-fantasy authors, please.
Top 5?
Or wow. What's your last? Well, you please, whatever.
Yeah,
make me feel bad. Like now, I feel bad about that question. I was thinking this is a fucking great question. I was like, yeah.
No, I feel bad because it's sort of like I used to read all the time, and then I started writing my own book, and I stopped reading, basically. And I was going to say Stephen King, but I guess he actually kind of counts as a fantasy author. I just don't think of him that way because he's so literary that he's pigeonholed and considered a genre author, but I don't think of him that way. And I think that he's really incredible. I honestly think Tom Robbins is a really good author.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? I like
Jitterbug Perfume.
Jitterbug Perfume is good. I like Even Cowgirls Get the Blues.
And I really like I think Ken Follett is really, really good. Not just his spy novels, a lot of his stuff is really good. And there's some that like there's a single book that I think is like incredible and I've never even read anything else. So there's a book called Ordinary People that they turned into a movie and I can't remember who wrote it. I forget her name. But yeah, that's an incredible book. And I don't know, there's
do you like Russian authors? Brother,
not so much. It's a little too much. Maybe I tried to read them too young.
Sorry, just
Judith Guest. Yes, that's her name. I read Dostoevsky when I was 15 because I wanted to be like cool and intellectual, and I was not. So
succeeded.
No, that's how you do it. Yes, yes. All right. Anyways, I was gonna ask who your favorite existentialist, but I think I'm gonna get like canceled. All right. Beautiful.
Don't get kicked out of the show twice in 1 week. Come on.
All right. Well, Rob, what is your favorite? What have I asked? Have we talked about this on the show? What moment would you like to have seen? What POV?
From a different POV.
Yeah, from book 1 up to, and 2 chapters 4 and 5.
No, through the whole thing.
Mother effer, you just can't. You're just cock blocking me, bro.
Yep.
You're cock block. I told Morgan that you. We'll be alone. What? Whoa! You want these out? What is? Look at.
You trying to score?
Ryan, what you got, Ryan? What you got, Ryan?
Wait, I'm getting cock blocked. No!
He can't even protect himself because he's just got those tiny little arms.
He's nuts.
What? Why, Ayana?
And Dan's over there having a wonderful time.
Yeah.
I think I just married my camera. I'm not sure what happened. Jesus Christ. I love you too.
All right, buy your camera drinks.
Yeah, I shall.
Oh, wow.
All right, yeah, wow. That's a whole. I will never think of cock block the same again, brother Dan.
Yeah, I just
bro. I rarely think of that term. I don't.
It's my
So
favorite.
long roosters. Hello, puppet penis.
Dude, yeah. My former supervisor before I got laid off, I called him Captain Cockblock because
because you knew.
So weird that you got laid off.
well, it's not his.
No relationship to the.
No, he was fine. Everybody misses me because I was the only one in the room who was older than he was, and so I would be, speak to him in a very condescending fashion, and he would come in, and I would just be, condescending and rude to him, and then tell him to toddle off eventually, and so everybody misses. The one who could be condescending to him. But yeah, 1 year for Christmas, I found a wooden rooster ornament. So I gave it to him because, it was a cock made out of a block. And I was just like, here you go, Captain Cockblock.
That is clever. That's clever.
Wow.
I love it.
Cock made out of a block.
It was.
Yeah, well, chat was loving that. I mean, Dana's eyes, as we've said.
I have a
Leah,
cock made out of the cloth.
Yeah, this is not a kid's show. Apparently, Lucky Bets might be pregnant. DK Moon's just glad you guys didn't actually have a cockfight. So.
They ain't over yet.
As am I, DK. As am I. You know what? I could go a night without double penetration. I'll be honest.
I know I'm not.
You mean you're not like?
Hey, baby, you. Wait, whip it out again.
Holy shit!
I'm sorry, Morgan. This is what Usha generally falls into.
She's aware.
I'm so troubled by it. It's so terrible.
Yeah.
Did we not have a conversation about the one power where I was like, well,
yes,
you could use it for electrostim and bondage and sex furniture.
Right.
I've only thought about this just now.
I'm still thinking about the furniture.
Blindfold can't hear anything, can't see anything.
Yeah, blindfold. And the best thing about
I'm sorry, you guys realize that that will literally be a thing. I've just realized it right now. Once Wheel of Time gets famous, there will be Wheel of Time porn. We know this. This will happen.
Oh,
I thought Master of the Deck has already written all this Wheel of Time erotica.
Well, I'm virgin. I've
heard about this, and I am for it, of course. And I have never scoped any of her WordPress or whatever. But please send me a link. I am all for shipping parent and call.
Grendel, you're on mic. Your mic is muted.
Yeah, the old patriarchy over there.
Yeah, getting smashed to bits. No, it's the they-triarchy.
Knock out the drywall.
Hey, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Great. This might be. Do we need to take another break? This has been another hour. Fuck it, let's take.
I mean, can we all hang out? I mean,
Morgan, how long do you got? I got more questions. Dog,
Yeah,
Mal, let's do it. Let's take another break.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be up for hours.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Great. This is fun. I love this. You number one. My poetry skills are pretty whack, but we always will want you back. That's all.
Yeah, I'm
More, Morgan.
All right, so I'm going to just get on some more music, and then we will be back in 10 minutes.
But I hear nothing. Here's what I'll do. Why are you trying to figure out? I don't hear the music anymore, so I'm gonna vamp. The music's on.
Yeah,
we're good. We're back.
That was, God, I gotta get better at that. Everybody. We almost saw proof of pantsless Morgan right there.
So close, so close.
So what? You want a leg off?
We got some alternate calves.
Everyone show the legs. Come on, dog.
Okay, so this is hilarious because I'm actually wearing chef pants.
Chef pants. Oh my god, this is
because I was cooking in the kitchen today, making punch. Oh well, we've got a foot off now.
It's the leg. It's the way of the leg. Can anyone do this? It's the way of the leg.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Which leg did you want? Did you want that one, or did you want that? All right. So I love the lower leg meat. Good job. Oh, nice. The double calf.
Double calf.
Double calf extension. I like that.
Double calf. Double calf.
Make sure you don't hurt your Achilles tendon. Yeah, when God dipped me into perfection, he held me by my heel. What a nerd. Put me in a sieve, why don't you? Come on.
Held you by the eyebrows.
No, the eyebrows were first. The eyebrows got the most.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Leia's liking the legs. Yes.
Oh, yep.
I'm a leg person myself.
You're a leg man. I like the wings.
All right, so delusions. Have you been able to tell us what your POV you wish you could have seen in book 1?
Well, did Rob finish?
Or did Rob finish? Did
Did Rob finish? Okay.
All right. Caveat.
We're like, we'll get to you after that break.
I'm sure I interrupted you. I'm sure I rudely just rolled over you with a dumb joke that didn't even land. I'm sorry. Caveat. Not me. Go on. Yes. Rob, did you finish? She says.
Not We're talking about masturbation.
So she asked you if you finished, Rob. She asked you, did you finish, Rob?
No.
Nope. All right.
Go ahead.
Go
please.
on.
Okay,
please.
so
finish on us now, please.
I'll finish.
Talk
I'll
about
finish
stamina.
up now. Okay,
Talk about stamina. Look at that stamina.
Well, we had a 10-minute break, so I
know. Look at that stamina.
It's late for Rob, and we're just like.
What was the question again?
Change your
POV. There we go.
Yes.
My God, Dean in the chat. I'm sorry.
Whose butthole do you wish you were like secretly in during this book?
But wow,
that's your butthole.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're a spy, like a space age spy, you can hide in the butthole.
Space age spy.
You're like a butthole spy. Go on.
Anybody but Rand. Pretty much, because he's just
got a problem with Yosha Butt?
No, I got nothing wrong with Yosha Butt, but there's like 95% Yosha Butt,
Good butt.
There are plenty of other good butts as well. So
yeah.
But
I'm just trying to find the origin of the light underneath Morgan's butt when she stands up. She's yet to do it yet.
The light that keeps shining every time. It's like, whoa.
Every time she stands up, remember the light that shines every time you stand up. We're still trying to figure that out.
I'm trying to. I don't know. I think maybe when they were going through the blight, if we'd seen something from land, that would have been a bit more exciting.
That would have been cool.
As opposed to telling the Two Rivers folk that, hey, this is really dangerous, don't fucking touch anything. It would have been a bit more of like him babysitting, I suppose.
And also like when he went to
I know what I wanted actually. I wanted his POV as he took down the fucking worm. That's what I want.
Yes. All right. Is anybody in the chat? Let us know, what POV do you wish you'd seen in book 1?
Yeah, I want to see him go and scout and stuff. I want to see what he's doing. I want to see like him looking at footprints and going, huh? Okay. Grim.
I want to know what's going through Tom's head as he's having that real subtle, multi-layered conversation with Moiraine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, nice.
F to the F and very beautiful.
We all know that she's just there going like,
this is a penis, right?
I know.
Yep. And he's like,
exactly.
And he's there just like, you know.
oh my God.
I like how that's so fast. It's like
I've always
almost
wondered.
subliminal.
I know. He has no, that is no stamina right there. 1, 2,
I mean,
3.
I tried to make a longer version, but I don't think it's going to play very well. So I'll try it out. We'll see how
Yeah,
it goes.
slow that shit down. Oh, no!
I was like, it gets like a lot of focus, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah.
Really
So the
good.
big one. I like the quick one.
Whoever drew that should be arrested. That's insane.
That's a kitchen.
That is insane. I'm so
I'm here
happy.
for it.
But I really interrupted.
What were we talking about?
It's Grendel, I think, unless Rob's not done.
No.
I like interrupted.
Is Rob now sufficiently finished?
I am sufficiently finished now. Yes.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, I guess speaking of beautiful butts, I got to go with my boy, Matty Cawthon. I need Matt Cawthon's perspective on the Camelin Road desperately. I love me some trauma, and I want some Matt Cawthon trauma, please.
That's a good point.
So when he's being held by Rand and he's just completely broken down as a man.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need some Cawthor in the bushes for sure.
Yeah. Leah wants some Moiraine in Shadow Logath, or apparently Logain in Camelin, or Loyal in the Ways.
Loyal in the Ways.
Oh yeah. Ooh, nice. I want to see the battle of the two rivers. We only see it through Rand's point of view, and Rand just kind of pulls up not the true battle, but when the Trollocs and the Mirror.
Oh, Winter Night?
From who?
Yeah, Winter Night.
From whose perspective?
Moiraine and Lan would be
Tom.
cool.
I want to know Tom's perspective in Winter Night specifically. Did he hide or did he battle?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, go on, brother. Sorry to interrupt though. Whose perspective do you want though in Winter Night?
I would say probably Lan and Moiraine. I want them to just be like sitting in their room doing whatever, and then suddenly they just look at each other like, "What the fuck? You sensing what I'm sensing?" And then they just start running out and going, Trollocs, and running out and just start battling. Yeah, they're the first ones to see Trollocs kind of creeping down through the little alleys or whatnot. Well, I don't know, between houses. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
I have two cats who are brothers, and I imagine and they both, when they get scared, they both will instantly react to something and jump away or like run out the window or something like that. Like I imagine that kind of like instant reaction between the two of them will boom. There's no differentiation between the two of their perspective. I think that's really awesome to think about.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Mildly drunk ran out of their POV for Winter Night.
Yeah.
He's going to be
like he's having a hard time getting his pants on.
No, and he wanders out there like half drunk off his face, and like shit's going down and people are dying, and yeah, that's going to be that's a POV.
Yeah.
He has pointed out Mistress Luhan with the frying pan. That's a must.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it Alvier who said that he was rallied by Lan, that they were all in disarray so was it Alvier? So yeah, I imagine Alvier was absolutely useless. He's just a figurehead.
He's just save the end.
There's a POV that I think we've all overlooked right now. That is not given to us once throughout the entire books. Any of them.
Oh, yeah. Who had a rough night that night as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know who we're talking about.
Who are we talking about, people?
Bella.
So good.
I love Morgan's face that she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. Talking about Mistress Luhan and her frying pan, Lan himself.
Wait, further down, real quick, guys. As a fan of Bella, that's fine. Do you think I want to be inside Bella's brain? Holy crap! What kind of monsters do you think I am?
Oop! I got to poop. Just pooped.
I'm walking.
Walk.
Oh, grass.
Still walking.
Grass.
You know.
Yum.
I mean, if you were in her perspective, at least you wouldn't have to worry about.
Wow, you know what?
Good point. So
I'm gonna regret this one day. Ryan's just gonna be like, right, Rob, I fucking got you. Like,
I would also love to hear Lan when he says, "Hey, sheepherder, no one really south of the borderlands has hardly ever seen a Trolloc, let alone kill one." ... And that crazy lady just killed a Trolloc with a frying pan, which I've never seen in all my fucking life. So, and I've seen some Trollocs killed.
Now, do you think she really just just faced off
Just
one-on-one
fucking
and
thing.
what do you think she's dodge a sword okay, so
Die.
You okay there, Dan?
Yeah,
Really good death.
Just
Really
wipe the blood off my face.
Oof, I felt that. That was
Yeah, that's probably how it went.
That was
Probably,
and I'm pretty sure we've broken Ryan.
That's probably how it went. I'm pretty sure. So I can't wait to see that. Yeah, Matt's running by and he just looks, and Mistress Luhan is just like repeatedly bashing the fuck out of a Trolloc. Die! Just the Trollic's already dead. Die! He's like, oh, that's weird. Keeps running.
Dean's of the attitude that Mistress Luhan could definitely play the O-line for at least 5 NFL teams.
maybe she actually used some sort of close range honey cake attack. Threw some honey cakes at the face.
I think.
No, I mean, the way I look at it, you've got, Samwise Gamgee taking down orcs with frying pans, and there's got to be an equivalent size difference between the two if you ratio it up. So I have no issue seeing Mistress Luhan, who's a very sizable, formidable lady, taking out a frying pan of a suitable size for her to use, and just dishing out the concussion.
Okay, so do you think she had to come across one from behind?
No, Leah's
or did she face off? Did she have to do some sort of defensive because no Trolloc is just gonna sit there and get hit in the face. If it face to face, it's gonna be it'll swing. Did she have to block it with the frying pan, or did she dodge and then counter? Or did she come across one?
I think the Trolloc was eating a child that it had just killed.
Okay. Wow, that was...
So we went dark then? Very good.
I'm guessing that it probably...
Where's he still getting up?
Die!
I feel like I'm watching dinner theater right now. It's so... I'm here for it. I'm hooked. What's going to happen next time? More death? Maybe.
I think I broke my puppet. No, I'm all right.
Calm down, brother dad. You're going to bust his teeth.
Yeah, I just broke
Oh,
it.
shit. My Fitbit is just beeping at me nonstop. Shut up, Fitbit. I know my heart rate's fucking racing.
Look at him. Dead there.
Die. So imagine, so what would have happened to the boys if she had caught them as soon as those powder dog enters her house? Die! Come here, buddy! Beating the fuck out of
Yeah, we never heard about what happened to the dogs. They all got clubbed.
Yeah, they're all
That
dead.
was how she did it.
Whoa.
Here's a
Not
dog
be
to
clubbing.
distract you, and the Trollic's chowing down on Doggy, and then she's like, donk, dead.
Oh, my
They were already flowered, so maybe you just
And then
throw them in some
afterwards, then she's just like, bastards ate my dogs.
oil. You bitches. You.
So Morgan, would you want to be would you want to have lived in the Emmonsfield during Do you think it's a safe place to raise a child?
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to live there just because I don't appreciate people telling me what to do, and I'm not interested in traditional gender roles. So no. I'm getting an echo. Do you guys have an echo?
I'll fix that. Thanks for the heads up.
Sweet.
Yep. Ryan knows how to fix. There we go. It's gone now. Ryan knows how to fix that.
Done.
Okay.
Our production Sedai.
You said gender roles.
Yeah.
roles.
So they're too strict as far as like gender roles, and they're way too strict about telling people what to do. And I'm not interested in being told what to do, and so I would butt heads too much with people. And yeah, it would be a struggle. So I would either end up being shunned, or I would, I don't know, blow something up, or I would have to leave because I'm not good, and I'm also not good at being browbeaten into doing things. So yeah, I would either have to like burn something down to make a point, or it would just be an ugly scene.
It'd be pretty easy to do that there, though.
Yeah, with the thatch.
Thatch
nonstop thatching. Yeah.
Keeping Sen Bowie in business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I hear that Devin's ride is kind of like Berkeley. It's really open-minded. It takes it's of the two rivers. It's like the little liberal bastion. So there's always that.
Also,
Devin
like
ride.
people aren't slutty enough in the two rivers, and it's just sort of like, I don't know, their sexual conservatism frustrates me because they make a lot of stupid choices because of it. And it's like, how many choices that lead to disaster or to serious trouble in the stories are caused simply by people's sexual conservatism. And yeah, it's a problem. So
have you done this podcast yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. We are all about sexual conservative. Is that what you mean, dog?
No. I want like a whole podcast on this about how.
I'm kidding. I thought you were talking. I was trying to yes and you. I'm like, oh yeah, well I guess we're all about that. Just kidding. Go on. You want to hear Morgan's thoughts on it in depth in a podcast format, is what you're saying? Yes.
I wanted to go deep and girthy on sexual conservatism in the Wheel of Time. Yes, please.
Well, that might be a useful, like, I don't know, bonus episode or something. I don't. It's.
All right, so you
need to start it like, hey, so I was talking to some puppets one day, and they said you need to talk about sex in the Wheel of Time and how they don't fucking do it.
All right, so here's my big.
There's not one brothel. Are you kidding me? What?
There's totally brothels, because Tom mentions about the way to get a man out of his misery is to get him drunk and get him a prostitute. So it's not that it's not a thing. It's just that it's not really talked about, and there are obviously places with very slutty.
Devin's Ride.
No, I don't think Devon Ride, but it's like even
Mary had a brothel.
There's a ride. Okay, I get it.
Devin's Ride. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's okay. Look, I've got something for that when Ryan tells a joke like that. I just
not a joke. That was not even a joke.
Well deserved.
By the way, for those watching, I do love Ryan. I think he's awesome.
Ryan just bounces. I love Ryan's all right, guy. Bye. So.
Oh, I'm back.
Are you eating little trees there? Little tree huggers?
I'm baby trees.
Eating trees.
Baby tree. Do.
That is just. Eating the trees.
Very nice.
I wanted the dramatic one, but I couldn't find it, so I wait.
So we didn't really deep dive into Moiraine and Swan. Was there anything?
I got a very pertinent question, real quick, brother. Okay. Thanks for bringing it back. Way to call it back.
Hey,
do you think there is anything between that you could cull from their interactions that are actually hinting at their deeper, kind of more romantic relationship? Other than the comment about being closeted for too long together, is there anything else that you can see in those interactions?
I don't think so. I don't know that he had intended at that point in the story or in the writing for them to have been together. I don't know if that was something that he kind of made part of his canon later on. But I know that it was like over between them by then.
Yeah. And Jordan makes it clear in the companion or the notes that both Suian and Moiraine are heterosexual women who just had to get some tower needs out, which is complete bullshit.
So I went to a women's college.
Wait, what? Okay, go on, Morgan. But I'm going to get back to that, dog. Go on, Morgan. That's amazing.
I know people hate the whole pillow friends thing, but I went to a women's college and we called it Bugs there, which was bisexual until graduation. It's 100% a real phenomenon.
Okay.
And I get that it's kind of offensive because it's sort of like it does engage in some, erasure there, and he does have, real, true 100% lesbians, and those relationships don't get explored. But I feel like it's a double-edged sword because I feel like if he had explored real lesbian relationships, he wouldn't have done a very good job of it because he doesn't do a good job of exploring any relationships.
No.
So it's kind of like, I feel like, he could have explored those relationships and he would have gotten criticized for it because, he would have done it poorly and he would have not intending to have, had stereotypes, and it would have been cringy because all of his relationships are cringy. So it's almost like, as a queer person, I'm almost grateful that he didn't, because it's just sort of like,
I wish he only did queer relationships, because as a hetero person, he blew that shit out of the water also.
Yeah, and it's like, and I've always, I'm always of the opinion that he didn't want to do relationships and that it was just sort of like, it was expected. But yeah,
his relationships were like my first, like oh, I like you. Oh, you like me? Well, I guess we like each other.
Tom and Elaine was so that whole little flirty thing. And then Tom and Moiraine, I even in this reread, I see that there's a mild bit of respect that someone would have for an Aes Sedai. I don't see gushing love in them.
No, okay. Here's where you're wrong, brother Dan. And here's my hot take. When they all presented themselves, it's a foggy night. They're on the docks, and they all start presenting themselves as like fierce beings, and like Perrin pulls aside his cloak to show his axe. Blah blah blah. Tom starts flourishing his knives. I think at that point, Moiraine went.
She got all flooded.
That was it. That chuckle was her telling him it's on.
It's on, baby. Maybe.
I think. Yeah. She had to use the one power to hold that shit back.
I mean, there are at least 2 first-time reader podcasts that I've listened to where the first-time readers totally pick up on the chemistry there, which I have never done.
So did ours. Todd picked up on it too.
Mine's obsessed, well, not obsessed, but he's like, they know each other somehow. Like,
I don't know that they know each other. I've
that kind of links in. There's there's a connection there between the two.
Yeah.
Like,
I like my,
but yeah, it's mad.
My headcanon is certainly that they know each other.
I don't think
he killed her half brother. Yeah, Taryn.
Well, I did a practice episode about that, and I went back and did the math. And so Moiraine was at the tower when Morghese was also there. Like, she had gone there to study, so she would have left to go get the throne while Moiraine was still an accepted, I believe. Yeah. So at the time, Tom was the bard for House Trakand, which was not the royal house. Moiraine was part of the royal house of Cairhien. So, like, she might have, while she was younger and part of, like, official royal functions, have had interactions with House Trakand, but they weren't the royal house. So I don't think so. I think in that interaction, though, he looked at her, and if she looks like her brother, he would have known that Tarangale Dalmadrid had a sister who was Aes Sedai, and if she looks like him, and it's like she has the coloring, and it's like, if she looks like him, if she looks like a lad, he might have took one look at her and been like, holy shit, that's Tarangale's sister. So I don't know that they had ever met, but I bet he knew who she was just from sight.
Well, how
And
about
she
this?
does call him out
A
as
bard.
Master Bard.
As
Yep.
Master Bard. So she
She
like
calls him
whether
a
or not they
bard,
Not
met
Master Gleeman.
or just because I mean when Tom and Morgaze were banging, correct me, she was already queen because Elaine was born. So they were already queen, and we don't know whether or not Moiraine in her travels ever like went and stopped by, Andor.
Does Tom use his mustache sexually? Because I've been trying to figure out how to do that.
It's called knuckling the mustache. Yeah.
Do you use yours?
Yeah.
Well, I've knuckled it, but like I don't know how to like incorporate that into my love life.
Don't knuckle it with your fist.
Free your mind, and the stash will follow.
I think we need Morgan on the deck. Let's get Morgan on. Oh wait! I mean, not Morgan on the deck. I mean, like, where's Master of the deck? Oh my God, Master of the deck. Sorry,
Morgan's right there. Just ask her.
Well, I almost said Morgan of the Dick, which is not appropriate. Sorry. Master
I mean, it's not like I'm unfamiliar, but yeah.
To that point, D. Moxie says the issue with pillow friends isn't that they are young women who explore their sexuality as underlings. The issue is that it is considered something childish. The women raised to the Shaw aren't and I think he meant, when they are.
The follow-up.
There's a follow-up.
Yeah,
and the follow-up
taken seriously.
If they don't revert to being
heterosexual. That's a great point.
I think it depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking from the point of view of, say, like Tarn of Fear, yeah, she doesn't take it seriously. If you're talking from the point of view of, I don't know, people who are
Moiraine.
Actually queer,
Elida?
Moiraine, Elida. One of the actual good ones is like Sanded Trigon, who is a green sister who goes with Perrin to Geldon, and she is a lesbian. It's like she's not an important character, and it's hinted to you. It only flat out says that she's a lesbian in the Wheel of Time companion. It is hinted at when Marana, who's the head of the Saladar embassy, makes some comment about you don't know what's going on between her and her warders, but she treats them like a pair of like hounds that she's particularly fond of. But it's later on commented on by like Suian, the Aiel Maiden of the Spirits, like she doesn't like men as men. And it's just sort of like she becomes a greed sister because she believes in their actual mission, not because she's all about the D. And so it's sort of like, people have the right to feel however they feel about, RJ and queer representation. And I feel like anybody's feelings about it are valid, particularly as far as, queer people and how they feel.
Well, hi, doggies.
I mean, Ryan's puppers must have noticed that there was a sneaky kitty palm going on. So
probably, I just personally, as a queer person, especially, reading it in the 90s, I am not as troubled by it, and I don't think that people who are wrong. And I don't think that people who are offended by the notion of pillow friends, are necessarily wrong to be. I just know, having attended an all-women's college, that it's not something that doesn't exist. And I know that I feel like RJ treats it with much more respect than it was treated at my school, where it was honestly treated pretty offensively. And the women who were bugs, as it was called, were, really, honestly treated quite offensively. And it's just sort of like, so what, if somebody wants to, engage in a same-sex relationship, even if they do generally prefer men when they're in a situation like that, so what, that's their right. And, it was very offensive the way people were treated like that. And so I feel like, I don't know, I'm not troubled by it. I don't think people who are necessarily wrong. People can feel how they feel about it. But my personal take on it, I guess, having lived in a real world situation where people dealt with it much more offensively, I guess I have a different perspective. And like I said, I feel like if he had tried to write actual lesbian relationships, it would have been so god awful and cringy that I'm grateful he didn't. So
mm-hmm. He doesn't frown upon it, but within the White Tower, it does seem that it is something that people are supposed to outgrow. It's accepted as normal behavior, or at least acceptable behavior, not something to be punished when you're a novice, when you're accepted. But once you get the shawl, yeah, you're right. I like that comment a lot. It does seem that seems to be the mentality in the White Tower, that, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the person, because there are lots of Aes Sedai who are queer and continue to have same-sex relationships, and that's one thing about having like the unreliable narrator, or the fact that he does everything that he does is from a particular point of view. So depending on whose POV you're in, some people feel like it's childish, and that's because they're not gay, and so it's sort of like they might have engaged in same-sex activity when they were deprived of opposite sex partners, but they just sort of feel like, well, that was what I did at the time when I didn't have any other options. And so for them, they feel like it's childish, possibly because they're dumb and they don't think anybody's really gay. But yeah, I think.
Well, how was so at that time, though, I assume you were reading a lot. What kind of queer representation did you encounter in literature?
Almost none, which was one of the reasons why it was sort of like, I feel like he got to the point where he, as soon as he could, started incorporating it. And, I've heard from people who were very frustrated because they were like, I was reading X, Y, or Z at this time, and they had lots of queer representation. And I'm kind of like, but I've never heard of X, Y, or Z. And I'm like, I don't think those people were getting, massive book displays when they were, putting it out there. And it's just sort of like, I don't feel like it's the responsibility of someone to necessarily have to be, a queer trailblazer at that time. When I was, in the 90s, if I wanted books with queer representation, I had to go downtown to Powell's bookstore and basically sit in the gay section to read books with gay people, if I wanted actual exploration of those types of themes. And so oh, go ahead.
And those sort of books, I assume, aren't the mainstream books. The books that you and your friends want to read, and they're kind of the fringe books. They're the books that I think, instead of just making a character that is gay and has a story, you have a story around a character that's gay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so
well put.
When suddenly like queer people started showing up, to me it felt like he started bringing it in as quickly as he could, and that there were hints of it starting like when you first meet Bane and Chiad, and I never picked up on it when they were like, we didn't think our wedding pledge was enough, so we also became like the first sister ceremony. That never clicked in my head until another podcast pointed that out, and I was like, holy shit, like I never saw that, and so it's just kind of like, and like I said, I don't think that anybody's necessarily wrong to feel like he didn't do a good job of queer representation, because I don't think he was great at it. And I certainly don't think he was a fabulous trailblazer or, but I am not troubled by it. And I'm not troubled by the Pillow Friends thing. And maybe that's just my personal experience of, like I said, living in a real world environment where it was treated so much more offensively than he treats it.
Yep. And I loved how you point out and highlighted that he's not good at fucking any relationship whatsoever. So why can we literally expect him to take that kind of extra leap to try and comprehend a kind of maybe a little bit more complicated dynamic? Like he can't even handle just normal whatever he's experienced in his own life. He can't even represent his own love life. Well, at all.
I can see him as a writer thinking, should I try to explore this? I don't think I'm going to, possibly feeling tempted to and deciding not to.
I know. I'm sorry, but he should not have made Pillow Friends like prison sex.
No.
Just like, oh, you happen to be there and I need to rub it out. let's not talk about it later.
But he very much is bases that kind of stuff in reality, and the bottom line is that stuff happens. I went to a women's college, and people who were basically considered themselves heterosexual engaged in same-sex activity because there weren't a lot of men around, and that kind of stuff does happen. And
yeah,
so,
I guess it's like very much to me that does seem like a 90s attitude, right? Where as today I would say that you're on like the spectrum. Of right, and it's not like you don't identify as one or the other, but yeah, maybe I can be a little bit more forgiving.
But people also get to I don't know if you've ever heard of Dan Savage's version of like the cake. He's like a three-layer cake, so it's like it's like what you say you are, it's like so like what you say you do, who you actually do, and like what you actually are attracted to. So it's like I can't remember exactly how, but it's basically like how messy your cake is depends on if you say you're straight, but you're attracted to men, if you're dude and you say you're straight but you're attracted to men, but you only bone women or something, you have a messy cake. And it's just sort of as opposed to
and like Mike Pence has like a bun cake.
Yeah.
Rob, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. I should probably be checking out. I'm starting to feel the eyelids close.
Wait, did we find where your friend is, Rob?
Find where my friend. No one's ever mentioned it. No one mentions it at all. Like
let's play Find Rob's mini.
Where
friend.
the fuck is Gru? Like,
there he is on the wall. Rob,
There he is.
It has to be a segment. We have to give you a full screen so people can look right there.
Yep.
Gru, I love it.
Gru will officially be moving for every show until found.
That's
and
amazing.
then when found, he will move to a new spot.
Oh.
And that will happen. And if he doesn't get found in a show, he will stay where he is until he gets found.
Gru is your mini-me.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
right,
we love you,
Rob. We love you.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye, Rob.
See you later.
As always, see you Thursday.
So I guess one final question I would like to ask is regarding then about the Red Aja. So they're depicted. I mean, if we're gonna talk about like they hate men, they're like the stereotypical like gender. I mean, I don't know how to delicately.
Yeah, like I have
man hating. They just hate men and whatever. You can like go from there. Like their starting point is I hate men.
Do you find that this is that this was meant as a representation of lesbianism? This was how like rudimentarily it's like, yes, no men at all. Blah, men are the bad. In fact, we don't even have warders. It's a weird. They're weird. They're weird.
I mean, the Red Aja is the largest Aja in the tower. We don't have.
Why?
But that being said, and we also don't have all of that many perspectives from Red Aja sisters. There's a few that we get. And of those few that we do get, we realize that they're not all man-hating lesbians. And that's it actually kind of annoys me when people like relegate like Red Aja and like their personality or their trait is that they hate men, because I don't think that women ever need to be narrowed down or like identified by their relationship to men. Like there's so much more to the Red Aja than just like, they hate men. And yet, like, more than 500 sisters are in, less than 500 sisters, but more than any other Aja, like, feel drawn to that. Like, they do have a noble purpose. There are some badass women who join that Aja. I'm thinking particularly of Teslin, who I adore, and Pavara. And like their identifying traits aren't just like fuck men, like let's do it up.
Well, where this is coming from though is in this exact chapter is when Moiraine is talking to Swan, and she says, "I found two in the village that should offset the Reds discovering Elaine." And she's like, and no, they don't hate men at all. In fact, they're kind of humored by him. They're not going to go red. That was like the one characteristic that Moiraine's like, no, they don't hate men. They're not going to be red. I don't know. Weird. It to me, I don't know. I didn't know if there was.
So no, yeah. It sounds like what you're grappling with is like kind of the common perspective of the Red Aja, and then the lived perspective of the Red Aja as we see in the perspective of the POV. So like the common perspective is that is their kind of whole MO is just that they just kind of hate men. Maybe they had a bad experience in their lives. Maybe they got dumped early on.
Even someone talking to the Amarillan, this is like the one feature. She's like, no, they like men. Don't worry about it. They're not going to be red.
And I don't think it was done necessarily well. I mean, when's the first time, Morgan, that we get Pavara's point of view? I want to say it's like Crown of Swords.
Pavara?
Yeah.
No, you don't. You meet Pavara for the first time in Crown of Swords. I don't think you get her point of view until I don't think we get it till Sanderson writes it.
Well, I thought we got it earlier when she was hunting Red Aja, and we got to see her like dark friend family set up there, and then she goes and finds Suian.
From Shane's point of view, from Shane Harriman's point of view, or Shane, I pronounce it Shane, but so we see that perspective. But Pavara herself and her point of view, I think that we don't get until. What are you peeping at, freak?
Oh no! Into your mind. This is great. Yeah, I am a freak, though. You're right. Yeah.
Because I thought Elida went to Pavara, and then Pavara went to.
Elida went to Shane. Elida went to Shane specifically because Shane was the only sitter who did not stand to depose Juan, but didn't leave. Right. Sorry, my wife wants to order pizza. I'm going to tell her to give me a second, and I'll answer your question. And
we should wrap up. We've already been like 3 hours. We should, I
want to finish your question because I've thought about this actually quite a bit. So I do think that, he sketches just a basic stereotype for the Red Sisters in the beginning. And I do wish that he had brought in characters like Pavara earlier on, because I think it's important to have that kind of like
make a
Red Sisters don't all hate men, but all or most stereotypes, it depends on the type of stereotypes obviously, but tend to be based in some manner of truth, at least when it comes to like something like that. And so what you're looking at is it's like women have to come to the White Tower and choose to become Aes Sedai. So you've got to think that the type of people who choose to do that might be people who, feel like it's important to have a purpose, like, battling men who can channel. So it might be people who want to deal with, stuff like that, with like men who can channel or those types of things. But you've also got to think about the fact that early on, while a woman is continuing, starting her training, a person gets guided toward the Aja that's for the best for her. That's what it says in New Spring. So you've got to think that the Red Aja is going to be interested in women who have an instinctive distrust of men. And so they're going to look for women like that because they're going to want women who are rules-oriented and sticklers. And you're going to want women who are hard asses, and particularly women who won't be swayed, because you've got to figure that most men who can channel aren't evil hard asses. Most men who could channel are going to be the kind of people who, when you track them down, are going to be terrified and scared and are going to beg for their lives, are going to throw themselves on your mercy, and are going to try to sway you, with tears and pleading and throwing yourself on, your humanity. And so they're going to want women who can be hard-hearted enough to not be swayed by that. And so it would be attractive to have, brought to the Red Aja women who are instinctively mistrustful of men, and whether you get, women who have had bad experiences with men, or whether you just get, some women just are instinctively distrustful of men, whether it's because they've had, experiences that make that happen, or whether it's just that way. And so it's not so much that, that's what the Aja is, so much as that's the kind of girls that the Aja attracts, and girls that are guided toward that Aja, because that's the purpose. It's sort of like, who becomes police officers, people who like rules and want people to enforce rules. So it's like you get a particular type of people who become cops. You get a particular type of people who do certain types of jobs, particularly jobs that are difficult, and require a certain type of mental or emotional fortitude, because they can be really ugly types of jobs. And so to be able to harden your heart and not see a person's humanity because you have to do something really terrible, like take someone to be gentled, I think that it makes sense, not so much like to hate men, but to be able to not be swayed by their humanity so much. So.
That is awesome. Why are they the most populated Aja then?
I think partly because if women choose to go to the tower, it might be partly because it's women who want to work toward law enforcement type things. Also because it is the tower, or it is the Aja that is most populated by dark friends. So it would be people who are, Black Aja, or people who would be good dark friends, are also kind of steered toward the tower. So I think that is also one of the reasons why.
Yeah, and I think in context of society too, it's not like people are like lining up to go to the tower anymore. So you make a really good point about, the kind of people that would choose to go to the tower in, the third age as we enter it.
Do you think the Red Aja is working under a fundamental misinterpretation of prophecy, or is there a rational interpretation of prophecy that allows for their behavior and choices?
I'm not sure. You also have to think though that, if you choose to be an Aes Sedai, you're choosing not to have a husband, not to have a family. So people who don't want those things necessarily, or don't value those types of things, are people who will choose to be Aes Sedai. Whereas people who, want that type of stuff might be like, I'd really like to be Aes Sedai, but, I want a husband, I want kids. Or, if they're not making use of Randland's version of birth control, might end up, being pregnant, or might have already, fallen in love with someone and had, life circumstances set their path already to something else. And so they don't end up going off to the tower. And so it just seems like for people who don't value the idea of marriage and family, those types of people would be more likely to go to the White Tower. And those types of people might be the type of people who would be more likely to be able to be steered into the Red Aja.
Right. And it does say that it takes a certain kind of man to even marry an Aes Sedai. So Robert Jordan, wisdoms don't marry necessarily. This sort of thing of a powerful woman not being able to land a husband, or not being able to blend work and life to that they can have both. That you can have a powerful working woman who has a family and whatnot. I don't know. There's all kinds of things.
That's also, that depends on culture. He's very much, some people want to slap that's like his ideas, but that's not necessarily. Like, each culture is very different as far as gender roles and whether a woman can, have a career as well as a family. Like Shanshan are very egalitarian when it comes to gender roles, and almost anything that a woman can do, a man can do, and vice versa. When it comes to things like, particular types of soldiering, things are basically based on ability, it's like flyers or whatever, it's based on height and weight. And so like women are better for certain types of jobs just basically because they're lighter. And women can be all types of officers and everything. And the only thing that interferes with Oh, Kev makes a great point. People with red characteristics. That's a great point.
And then he follows it up with this.
That's not an unfair point either.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Which is funny because of all the Ajas, I'd probably be a yellow.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm a white, and white is the smallest Aja, and it's just sort of like because I'm lazy, and and I'm not saying that all whites are lazy, but it's just sort of like you're talking about an Aja that requires like minimal effort. It's like you want to just like sit around and think about shit, and have like philosophical discussions, and not have to do a ton of studying like a brown.
And let your interns teach the classes
like,
for you.
Smoke a little weed and like let's talk about some deep shit. A little or a lot. But
that's what our show's all about.
Are we gonna have a special? Someday we'll have a special podcast with Morgan, who is entirely baked out of her mind.
I'll be less like coherent, and I'll be like struggling to be like, yeah, but yeah. So. And I lost my train of thought. So
it's a wheel to come back.
I actually did just lose my train of thought. But
well, we do.
I'm good at that. Sorry.
Yeah. Now I forgot what I was saying.
So you're a white. What would you be, Delusions?
Blue.
Okay, Brother Dan.
I would like to say a brown. I'd like to say a brown.
If Browns listen to podcasts.
Yeah. If I could just take notes on podcasts, sure.
I think Browns.
Before podcasts, I read a lot.
Me too. I read so much, and then podcasts ruined my brain.
And then I just read Trump like 24.
Did I ever tell you about Joe Rogan?
I didn't have an Aja at first because they have Ajas for what spoilers, and I never had one because I was thinking realistically, and I was like, I would have been kicked out of the tower because I wouldn't have studied hard enough, I would have been thrown out. And when I went to SpoilerCon back in 2019, and I was just kind of sitting around, I was talking to Seth and the guy who was the head of the White Aja, and we're talking about it, and I'm like, basically, you're talking about an Aja where people say really blunt shit because they've, thought everything through to a logical point, and then they say it, and it's like 2 seconds later they think, well, that wasn't very tactful, and I probably could have worded that better. That's the Aja for me.
Sign me up.
Well, okay, yeah, that sounds like me a lot. Okay. Oh my God,
it's perfectly logical. It probably wasn't very tactful. I probably could have said it better. And I really do care about how you feel, and I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but oops.
That's awesome. Well, Morgan, God damn it, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for spending 3+ hours.
Yeah,
this has been one of my favorite shows. This is awesome.
Well, I'm happy to come back anytime. I don't do a lot this early on it. My schedule is such that this is like just about the time that I'll actually get started doing shit, and I'll be up for hours yet. So this is
doing what? Like right now. What are you gonna do? Apparently pieces in the offing.
I'm gonna go vacuum and
oh, so amazing.
Update the budget, and I need to finish typing up my notes for my podcast to get my I need to get my final draft of my next episode recorded.
All right, Morgan, real quick, I'm just gonna put you on the spot. Why have you not had us on your show?
Oh, because my show is just a one-person show where I
know.
I do a very note-oriented.
But we're not people.
Yeah. Because I
can knock shit out. I can be like,
Morgan, your improv skills are second to none.
But I am going to. So the episode I'm doing right now is basically my last episode for The Great Hunt, and I have a bunch of stuff that I need to do as far as personal skill learning. I got a lot of shit I've got to do, so I'm going to be taking about a month off. And I am going to
everyone enough time to catch up and binge your podcast and get ready when your month on again.
And
I'm going to
the dragon.
get get my Patreon set up, get a whole bunch of shit going like that, and I will probably. I've got a YouTube set up. I figured some of my ideas for Patreon shit is like, you know, YouTube.
Oh yeah, DK Moon's on top of it.
Yeah. So, but I've got to learn how to like actually make and edit videos. I've got a lot of stuff to do. My technology game is so behind that I'm reading the manual on how to use my computer right now. So,
Morgan,
the user manual.
Morgan, let's talk. I'm the production Sedai for this show.
Ryan is an open well of knowledge.
I
have to learn how to use Discord. One of the reasons my Discord is so lame is because I actually don't know how to do anything with it to like make people's names different colors or actually do anything. And
yeah, you and me both. Someone volunteered for me. They said, "Hey, I can do that." Or Ryan said, and they were like, "Yeah, done, do it." And suddenly we have a music channel. What?
I need to be better at general time management. So the idea of trying to get it all done doesn't make me want to freak the fuck out, because it's just sort of like, I want to be a more consistent social media presence. And I'm like, really, I should tweet 5 times a day, but I can't fucking think what to do. You know? And like, I'm trying to like do that kind of stuff because I do want a bigger presence, because I do have goals, you know, and it's like, well,
look at this.
For real. Everybody's Rambo is very smart with this stuff.
You know, my ultimate goal is to hopefully start reading audiobooks. I would like to be able to do that to, you know, to make some money, but that's like, I've got to start learning a whole bunch of other shit first. And it's just sort of like, each podcast episode takes me between like 15 and 20 hours just because I do so much as far as my notes, and I do 2 drafts, which is why they sound smart. The first one doesn't sound smart. It's the fact that I do more with it after that makes it sound smart. And so all of that kind of stuff is taking up enough time that I need to set it aside for a second, focus on doing some stuff. And so I will do all of that. I will get the Patreon rolled out, and I will do bonus stuff where I will have people on. I will do different types of stuff. And then, I will talk to people or puppets.
Or puppets, yeah, thank you.
I am excited for your future.
Yeah, I'm so excited. For real.
This made me, I'm sitting here smiling at all these
A media empire is brewing.
Yes.
Being fired from my job was, you know, I was kind of like, this is an opportunity. Yeah, well, I was just waiting for it to happen. I was like, I really can't go back. It's just going to exacerbate the problem. You know, it's just going to get worse. You know, it's like my tendinitis shit, it got better, but it's not 100% better, and it's just going to get worse if I go back to work. So they can fire me. You know, my FMLA ran out, and I'm like, and then they can fire me. And fortunately, I'm married, so I can still have health insurance. Yay, America!
Yeah. You only die to work. If you don't work, you don't deserve health.
No. You don't work, go die. You don't work enough hours. You have to work enough hours to support the capitalist machine. Otherwise, you can die.
Right. Well, damn it. I want you on each and every day. God, this is so fun. You're awesome. Thank you very much, Morgan. My hand is cramping, so I'm wrapping up. Ryan, if you want to keep hosting and doing your shit. All right. Delusions of Grendel.
Holy shit. You missed it, Dan. Wow, I almost stopped the stream right there, but we do want to get plugs. Delusions, what do you want to plug? Do you have an Etsy account?
No, I just want to plug Morgan again. I think everyone needs to be able to have a ton more exposure to Podcast of the Dragon. Yep. We need to get you on Apple Podcasts, Morgan.
I am on Apple Podcasts.
Perfect.
Okay. I am. It's hard to find me. Okay, so if you Google Podcast of the Dragon, you can't find it. But if you Google Wheel of Time Podcast Morgan, I'll totally show up. So I don't fucking understand why that's not a thing.
We'll do it. We'll post the link in Way of the Leaf Discord. We'll get it out there. But yeah, I think Morgan just brings such
insight,
perspective, and insight, and humor, and everything to the world of Robert Jordan.
And encyclopedic knowledge. You have
share a screen with you.
an intimate knowledge of these characters. You whip these people out that I'm like, all right, who's this person? I tended to gloss over all the Aes Sedai names, and you embraced them. It seems
unparalleled.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So thank you very much, ladies. Yep. Thank you for joining us. You are always welcome, as always.
Yeah, I would love to come back. This is great.
And before we go, let's announce on February 7th will be our first Watctionary game, which is the Wheel of Time Pictionary game with Tree Hugger and Malkier Talks. Our first guests are going to be Morgan. What?
Oh, James? Also, what? Oh, I'm going to be on the Dusty Wheel on Wednesday too. So if you guys are
big,
I guess we're wrapping out.
I thought you were like canceling on me live on air.
No.
Right, so
I would
Morgan
not.
will be a guest February 7th.
Yeah.
And also we will have the Badger Reborn, and we will have Brother Dan help me out.
Me, and I'll be there. Wait,
you will be there.
MK
and DT. Yes, DT from Discord. One of the most amazing servers in Discord. So
DT's
we have
the best.
Morgan and the Badger Reborn, and they will be the contestants on the Watctionary game show that we are going to be hosting. Brother,
we're doing it once a month. The first Sunday.
We're going to have 3 teams, and the guests will be guessing. The team captains will be drawing, and this will be some sort of tournament style. It'll culminate in some sort of, hopefully, a charity event after a couple months. So, yeah, stay tuned. This is a part of the Tavern Talk experience. Every first Sunday of the month, Tavern Talk will turn into Watctionary, and it is basically a collaboration between Tree Hugger, Malkier Talks, and The Way of the Leaf. And behind the scenes, we have MK Ganest, and we have Dana Lou helping out. So it's a whole team effort, and we are getting super guests coming. First week, again, Morgan, DT, and Badger Reborn. Following that, the following month, we'll have Talkaran Real. The entire Talkaran Real team will be joining us, and they will be competing as contestants. So this is something we're going to be growing. Stay tuned for this. As always, The Way of the Leaf.
Well, hold on. Before,
yes,
we really should thank our friend Time to Float.
Hello, yes.
Way of the Float.
The Way of the Float was fantastic, and I'm glad that he that was a brave thing for him to do, and I love that he partook. Yeah, I'm glad that was amazing. Part of the show.
So many times people are on camera for the first time with our show. That's kind of one of the things we're trying to do. We're building community. It feeds us. It gives us a reason to get up in the morning and keep doing this. Again, I have completely psychometrically possessed the human being that is controlling me. He has no free will anymore. He wants to go home. I will not allow him to. I feed him again, alpha brain and a lot of pea protein.
All right. So, and also thank you, Headsky, for trying to jump in. We will get you on soon. But you are awesome, man. No, it's not your fault, brother. We'll get you. Let's blame Verizon.
It was Ricky Ticky Taffy chewing on his cable.
It was dingoes. It was dingoes ate your baby internet.
The dingoes ate your internet.
Dingoes ate your internet.
All right.
All right.
All right. I love you guys. I'm throwing kisses like frisbees. Mwah, mwah,
everyone have a great night. We'll see you on Thursday.
Bye. See you next Thursday.